to watch.
So regardless of the MAC standings, this game has a lot of importance. There is Michael Braunstein, an outstanding kicker for Ohio. He has hit his last 20 consecutive field goals and his 12 for 12 this year. And on the return, it is Roger Williams. He dropped the ball momentarily, but he revved his way out to the 23, and that is where Bowling Green will put the ball into play on offense. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for Bowling Green, the 5 blocks of granite, as they have come to be called, a veteran group that has been together for much of their career, and they're really opening up holes now for running backs like Willie Jeter at 203 yards in Bowling Green's win over Kent State last week. And they also have an outstanding receiving core led by, they call Batman and Robin, Partridge and Freddie Barnes. Tyler Sheehan, the quarterback, saw some of his numbers there. And on the first play from scrimmage, it is Jeter picking up where he left off, quickly a 3-yard gain up to the 26. And let's take a look now at the Bobcat defense. And they have an outstanding defensive line. Landon Cohen and Jameson Hartke, both all MAC second team. Taj Henley spearheads a outstanding aggressive linebacking core. And Todd Koenig is the anchor of their secondary. Pass out on the sidelines, complete to Corey Partridge, and Bowling Green with their first down of the game. And I guess it's symbolic of the way things have been for this team. They started off with a few yards to loosen things up on the ground. That opened it up for a first down pass, Coach.
Well, we talked about there's been a paradigm switch at BG, and I think the big, sweaty, ugly guys up front for the Falcons, went to Coach Brandon and said, hey, Coach, we want to come off the ball, get into people, knock some people back, and run the football. All offensive linemen want to run drive block. Pass blocking is kind of passive, so you're going to see more balance today.
And quarterback Tyler Sheehan also said that he would like to see more of a running presence, and he has got it. Here is Jeter up to the 40-yard line as he turned the corner, but was cut down before he could really make his move upfield. Nonetheless, a 4-yard gain on first down again.
Well, they've really learned, they've developed, and give Coach Brandon and Mick McCall a lot of credit, the offensive coordinator, to get a shot at Coach Brandon there. Ways to get Jeter the football out on the edge. He is an exciting talent, and you're going to see a lot of him tonight.
He was the first Falcon since P.J. Pope in the 2004 season to run for over 200 yards. And long pass by Sheehan is over the head of Corey Partridge and into the Falcon bench area. And also Willie Jeter with his 203 yards. He was only 22 yards short of the all-time Falcon record set by Darryl Story against Ball State way back in 1983.
Well, Kevin Breckmacher talked earlier about the wind, and it is whipping down there. And if you don't follow through and come over the top tonight, the ball will sail on you. And that one got away from Tyler.
3rd down and 6. Falcons have been very good on 3rd down conversions during the course of the year, and they have clicked on another one as the pass out to Marcus Parks. Good for the first down, and he picked up a few yards after the catch and landed at midfield.
Well, this is just a little sit-down hitch. Great concentration by Marcus Parks there, because OU was closing on that. They read it, and sometimes it's good to be lucky because they were closing on that ball. That could have been picked going the other way.
And you saw Landon Cohen. He went all out for the interception, but he could not quite bat the ball down or pick it off. Jeter, the delayed handoff, and again he makes some headway, about 7 yards, a late flag there. Shannon Ballard making the tackle, and flags flying all over this ball yard right now. And you see the lengthy conference face masking on Ohio, and that is going to push the ball still deeper into Bobcat territory.
Well, the Stripers get it right. And they
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
They may have missed a face mask on Willie a little bit earlier, but here you go. Jeter trying to get to the edge. He's got great quicks, good patience. Oh man, the Stripers are all over that. That's a dangerous play. It's accidental. It's not intentional, but you got to call that.
That was a face mask tackle, play action. Sheehan with lots of time, lofts it up in the air. Jeter going deep, diving for it, and incomplete. that close to making a circus catch in the end zone. Good coverage on the play by Lee Renfro there, number 32, running stride for stride with a very quick Willie Jeter.
Great play call by Coach Brandon and Mick McCall. It's a sprint right by Tyler Sheehan, and it's what we call a sleeper play. Willie Jeter pretends like he's blocking to the left, and that's the sleeper part of it, and then he breaks into a real fade to the corner, and they had a play. If he'd gotten it out there a little bit further, it was a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Anthony Turner in at quarterback for the Falcons now. And he tries to run around the end. That's what he does a lot from the quarterback position, is run the ball, but they corralled him for a 4-yard loss.
It's tough with a play caller with Bowling Green. Coach Brandon is so skilled at what he does in the passing game, so skilled at formationalizing people, and Mick McCall, their offensive coordinator. But sometimes there's a tendency to get too cute. You can kind of fool yourself. You get too many things going on. Because I think Bowling Green could really effectively run the ball with Jeter.
Turner was the Falcons' main quarterback last season before being supplanted by the emergence of Tyler Sheehan. Outstanding sophomore. He's back in, throws for Partridge, and he got belted by Todd Koenig. Outstanding backfield player for Ohio. In fact, he's mid-season All-Mid-American Conference. He nailed Partridge.
Well, again, Bowling Green's pass offense is a series of sit-down hitches and drags, and he had an opportunity there. Good hit by the Ohio University DB.
And so it is going to be a field goal attempt on 4th and 12 by Sinisa Vervila. He made a 49-yarder that cleared by a long way last week in the Kent win. Of course, he's kicking against this strong wind, and it is a 48-yard attempt, very close, and it is good. So unlike the 49-yarder last week, it didn't clear by a lot, but it had enough and went right through the uprights. Falcons lead 3-0. But Smith said that the pressure of kicking field goals is nothing. He's from Bosnia, and his family was in the midst of civil war that was going over there. He said that there were times when it was a big thing just to have enough to eat, so he's not affected by pressure on a football game. And there's the kickoff, and a long run back, carrying back past midfield. It is Vince Davidson deep into Falcon territory, finally brought down about the 24-yard line, and OU strikes back very quickly.
Well, it's the same old thing, Greg, on any level, high school, college, or pro. The hidden yardage in football is all found in the kicking game. It starts up as a middle return. You deke them on the middle wedge, and you break it up to the outside. Good left side running, blocking, and screening people out there. And it's a great return and puts some OU in great offensive field position.
Take a look at the Ohio offense. Their offensive line has been decimated by injuries, and that's been part of their problem this year. But they have Calvin Mcrae in the backfield, and that makes up for a lot of problems. And quarterback is Theo Scott, and he's rolling around the right end and inside the 5-yard line, cut down by Antonio Smith just as he was about to waltz over for a score on the very first play from scrimmage.
Well, that is a great way to start a ball game. You're looking at number 3, Theo Scott. You're getting the start. You fake the C-Mac. It draws a lot of attention. You bootleg out the right. Number 3 has tremendous athleticism. That is a great positive play for him to start the ball game.
That was a transfer from California where he redshirted Bowling Green's defense. You see there, their defensive line, their linebackers are really the key to their team. 1, 2, 3 in tackles and a big play secondary. Falcons stopped Kent State 3 times inside the 5-yard line last week, but they can't stop the Bobcats as Calvin Mcrae dives over, and almost as quickly as they put the ball back in play, Ohio has taken the lead.
Well, it's a little inside lead to C-Mac, and a guy with these kind of skills knows what to do with a football when he gets down in the goal line area.
He does indeed. And Ohio gets the long return, and then they don't waste any time going the remaining distance. And Braunstein is on to try to convert to make it a 7-3 game. He hasn't missed any field goals, and he doesn't miss that. And it is 7-3 for the Bobcats. Near our own 30. But a little further in all likelihood. Braunstein on the kick. And see what the Falcons can do with Roger Williams getting it nearly in stride. He shucked off a tackle at the 27. He's still on his feet. And finally, ground to the turf on the 36-yard line by Matt Ritter. And that's where Bowling Green will set up shop.
RW Roger Williams makes a great move here. It's almost a little Barry Sanders, Barry-esque kind of pirouette and spin, and got away from an Ohio University Bobcat. It's a cool move. Very, very neat. Watch him. See, there it is. Spin, turn, and go.
That's called putting the air brakes on. And 1st and 10, Bowling Green on the 36. Williams has really emerged as the Falcons' big kick return specialist. Sheehan keeps the ball, and he motors his way up to the 47-yard line, very close to a first down.
You were alluding to Greg Brandon as being a good offensive coach, and I'll tell you this, I think he's one of the top offensive minds in the country in college football and one of the top 5 developers of quarterbacks and wide receivers. He really is fantastic. The way he formationalizes people, the way he develops quarterbacks, the passing attack. That was a speed option out of the shotgun, and Tyler kept it himself, and smartly Tyler got down before a safety could put a lick on him.
Of course, Urban Meyer, the reigning national champion coach, made his name as a head coach here at Bowling Green, and Greg Brandon as his coordinator was a big, big part of that. Willie Jeter, as they did get the first down. 1st and 10, Jeter shaking and baking, gets it down to the 45-yard line of Ohio before he is ridden down, but another good gain on first down, and the Falcons are getting a lot of options because they are penetrating on the ground in that first down call.
Well, that's a stretcher edge play to Willie Jeter. You know what Willie does? He's so fast, Willie Jeter is, that he outruns a good defensive angle. He's just so quick to get to the edge. You get a look at him 20-80, tremendous quickness.
2nd down and just under 2 yards to go. Once again goes to Jeter. He's trapped, does everything he can to make something out of nothing, but finally he's ridden out. Mark Parsons stepping up to make the play, along with Todd Koenig.
Ohio University got close to getting a little laundry thrown there. There might look like a little bit of extracurricular activity out of bounds. They drove Willie deep into the out of bounds and pretty hard. You know, there's a difference between the two offenses. You talked about Urban Meyer's offense and Greg Brandon. Urban Meyer's offense is really different from Greg's. Greg's is more pass-oriented, and Urban's is more run-oriented. Different spread-type philosophies and different spread offenses.
3rd down and 2, no gain on that. 2 outstanding backfield men. Parson and Koenig combining on that last stop. Jeter again, slammed down, but not before. It appears that he got the first down. Jameson Hartke, 2nd team All-MAC lineman, making the tackle. We'll see where they spot the ball. Willie Jeter, you saw him a moment ago, his Hartke just made that tackle. Jeter said he'd never rushed for 200 yards in his entire career. Closest he'd ever come was 190 in a JV football game. They made the tackle just short of the first down. Here we go, 4th and inches. Sheehan got a good drive forward and picks up the first down with room to spare.
Well, it's the oldest play in football, is quarterback sneak, and what Tyler does is he reads the bubble. He reads where the open gap is on either side of the center, and just kind of sachets in there for the first down. You know, they list Jeter at 170 pounds, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if he's 170 pounds, but he runs a lot bigger than that.
A lot of the bigger schools passed on him because of his size. Bowling Green took a chance, and they're happy they did. Now they try a gadget play, and it's a long pass by Freddie Barnes to a wide open Marcus Parks, but it's intercepted on the 5-yard line by Julian Posey, number 9. Falcons scored a touchdown on a similar kind of play last week against Kent State, but this time Ohio was not fooled.
Well, it's a double reverse pass, and the timing and the rhythm of it got destroyed. See, here we go. There's 1. Coming around 2. Throw it down there, Freddie. They had a great call. Maybe if it gets up a count quicker, they have a touchdown.
You saw there, Steven Jackson got his hand on it. Almost bounced to Parks, but Posey intercepted it. man who threw that ball, Freddie Barnes himself, was a quarterback. He started the season last year in the quarterback position for Bowling Green. They actually have 3 quarterbacks that they can have throw the ball at various times, and 8 yards on first down. When you're back in the shadow of the goalpost like that, give it to Calvin and let him go to work.
Well, CMAC, he knows what to do with the football. He's 140, get a look at Mcrae right there. He's 147 yards off Ohio University rushing record. There have been a lot of good backs at Ohio University, but he just has a sense and an ability to run the football. And I don't know that you can teach that. I think that that's something that's instinctive. You can't teach those kind of running skills. It's more instinctive.
Once again, Mcrae, and you see him there, just finding the hole, then breaking away. And it is a race downfield. He is finally cut down by Kenny Lewis, or he would have been gone.
Yeah, Kenny Lewis makes a touchdown-saving tackle for the Falcons, but when the NFL looks at this run for CMAC, this is an NFL run right here. Inside ISO, it's not there. He bounces it outside. Great lead block, and now watch CMAC take the edge. See, that's an NFL. The NFL will cut that when they scout CMAC, look at that and say, boy, he's a big-time NFL back.
Mcrae came into this game needing 147 yards to become the all-time leading Ohio rusher. Stephen Hookfin currently with that record, but he's taken a big chunk out of that now with that scamper. In fact, he's accounted for all of the yards, 53 on the ground of this drive. Scott rolling right, completes the pass. Stepping out of bounds neatly, Cheeto Wachoka.
This is good play calling by Ohio University Bobcats. What they're asking Theo Scott to do is he's making play-action fakes to CMAC, and he's booting out on the edge, and it's a one-on-one A to B passing situation. They're making the decision for him. Here he is. He's on the marker. He's on the chain. Give him the ball. It's a little dink and dunk off of a boot, and it's clever play calling.
Scott is very calm on that rollout. He's a junior college quarterback in Los Angeles. Then he went to Cal, redshirted for a year, and transferred to Ohio. Pitch, Mcrae again trying to slither through crevice in the line, but John Hanline finally wraps him up and pulls him down, and that's really quite a confrontation. Hanline, by far the top tackler on the Falcons against, of course, a caliber running back like Mcrae.
Handline plays like a mad dog in a butcher shop. He just is. He's hitting everybody that's moving. He's all over any kind of running play. I mean, he is a terrific football player for the Bowling Green defense.
Mcrae recently became the second leading rusher for Ohio, passing Kareem Wilson, who's in that 3rd spot. Hookfin, the last man, he needs to pass. Here's Scott in some trouble as Darrell Briggs putting on the pressure. He gets loose, pass down the sideline, complete for a touchdown. Andrew Mooney, tight end, the leading touchdown receiver for Ohio with his 6th touchdown catch of the year, but a flag is down. And it's going to come back.
The offensive receiver may have pushed off and created that separation.
Get the official word here.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 58 on the offense, 5 yards previous spot, repeat second down.
Lineman David White, I guess he got a little too excited when he saw that open real estate in front of him.
That'll be bad for David tomorrow in film when they run there. You get a shot at David at 58, and they run that back on film. Coaches have a tendency to, David, they'll run that back about 87 times for you tomorrow, and they'll ask you, what in the heck are you doing down there?
They like to go to their tight ends in the red zone. There was another example of it. Pass by Scott. This one snagged by Levon Brazil, and he fights his way down to the 20. He started the year as a redshirt, Brazil did. About halfway through an earlier game against Buffalo, they decided they needed what he could bring to the table, so they pulled the redshirt off and put him in action, so he's a true freshman.
A great little curl back by Brazil, had great hand extension outside his body, took the ball before it could get into his chest, fundamentally real solid.
Another Bobcat first down. And they are at the edge of the red zone. Here's Mcrae taking them deep into the red zone. Inside the 5, still plugging away. And finally thrown down by 4 Falcons. You see Kenny Lewis came out with a football, but well after the whistle.
Well, you've got to lead. You just got to lead ISO here. You see the fullback? fullback gets a kick out block, and C-Mac takes it straight up inside. What makes C-Mac such a good back is he knows when to stay with the block and keep it in the inside pipe, and he also knows when it's jammed up and moved to the outside. You cannot teach that. That is instinctive, creative running that gets you to play on Sundays in the NFL.
There you see Ohio's red zone proficiency, 9th in the MAC, but still over 76% conversion. Mcrae went diving, got to the very gate of the end zone, but stopped inside the 1.
Well, C-Mac tried to go airborne there, but he didn't get, it was like that plane. He didn't get a lot of lift there. I don't know. That wasn't a real good airborne move by C-Mac. He might be better just keeping the wheels on the tarmac and just trying to bust in there.
So, Theo Scott getting his instructions from the bench. He's been very composed in the way he has run this offense so far. 2nd and 1. Again, they go to Mcrae, and again, they keep him out. He was just trying to slice off that initial hit that was made by Handline, and that's when the help came and thrust him back.
Well, they're going to the right guy. I mean, again, it's just a lead ISO, fullback lead. One of the oldest plays in all of football, kind of a black and blue, bloody nose kind of play, but a nice job by the Falcon defense.
One of the things Greg Brandon said about his defense, they stressed getting one more man to the football. That's what they needed after Hanlon made that initial hit. Here we go with a 3rd and 1. Falcon fans on their feet employing the goal line defense to hold, but Mcrae quiets them with his 2nd score of the night.
Well, you can really see why everyone talks about this young man. Again, it's just the lead ISO. You see the fullback take the first block, and Mcrae is down inside tight in the red zone. You give it to him enough times, and he's going to get in the end zone. He's a very talented runner.
13-3 for Ohio after Bowling Green struck first with the 48-yard field goal. And now Bronstein is on to try to make it a 14-3 game, and he does. Ohio 94 yards, and the last 2 or 3 plays was trying to buck in from the 1-yard line.
Well, really, that's old Nebraska football. That lead ISO that they're running really is Solich is running the old Nebraska lead ISO, and it's an effective with Big Mac.
Roger Williams takes it on the 10, and he's tearing it back all the way out to the 39-yard line and was very close to breaking it. And again, the Falcons will have good field position from which to start their attack.
Coach Brandon's point of emphasis before the start of this season was to improve special teams because it was not a strong point last year. And I am telling you, they have done that. Those are excellent returns by Roger Williams. Good blocking in the interior, creating a seam. And look where the offense possesses the ball. Offense is more where you possess the ball. If you're constantly getting it at your 40, you're going to have a good day.
Bowling Green has averaged 9 additional yards per kick return when Williams has run it back than any other player on the squad. Outside to Jeter, lots of room across midfield, and he's stopped on the 47-yard line. And again, Bowling Green continues to be very effective on first down, running the football, and this marks a great departure from what they had really done all season up until very recently.
Yeah, it had been pass, and I think really what happened is the big sweaty guys up front, you're getting a look at them, 78, 75, 71. I think they went to Coach B and they said, hey, Coach, come on now. We want to run the football. Look at how many pass attempts, 35, 32, 27, 35, 37, and it drops down to 19 and 14. They said, hey, we want to come off the ball, drive, block people, and run.
The metamorphosis really started, however, with last week's Kent game. Jeter gets 3 yards. With Miami, when they dropped to 19, that was simply more a function that the pass was, I think, so anticipated by the defense it just wasn't working, as opposed to last week. They didn't throw it as much because they didn't have to. The run was so effective.
Well, the pass can be intoxicating. When it's clicking and things are going right, nobody does it better than Coach Brandon and his offensive coordinator, Coach McCall. But you have to be balanced to win championships, and I think this is going to be a nice switch for them.
2nd and 7. Sheehan wide open, gets Tyrone Pronti for the first down and more down to the 31. And that's what Sheehan was saying basically, is that up until recently, the other teams, they could just basically drop 9 players back into pass defense because they knew the Falcons wouldn't run the football.
Yeah.
Now the backfield men have to step up, and that gives him better opportunities to complete passes.
Well, what the DB's doing, they know you're going to throw all the time. It's tight passes that you're throwing. The stops, the hitches, the quick outs. The DBs roll up, take away the quicks. They don't. BG doesn't have anybody else to pick up the block, and double moves become more difficult.
1st and 10 on the Ohio 32. Here comes Jeter again. Sidestep, the first man who met him, Noah Keller. And it's fortunate for Jeter that he did, because he was about to be separated from his body there. Finally, Myers, 99, steps up to make the play, and he got about 3 yards on it.
Willie Jeter is extremely impressive. He's got to be a 4.3, 4.4. You get a look at 28 right there. Low to the ground, extremely quick, versatile, can catch the ball, run all the cute plays out of the backfield. He is a talent.
2nd and 7. Getting to the latter stages here of this opening quarter. Sheehan stepping up, pass wide open. Freddie Barnes catches it for the touchdown. Falcons right back in the ball game.
Well, it was a quick seam to Freddie Barnes, and Freddie, we've talked about him before. He is the slash of the Bowling Green offense. What Drew Pearson was to the Cowboys in their heyday, Freddie Barnes is to the Falcons. Tyler Sheehan has a chance to look around. Freddie runs a quick one-seamer down the pipe. Here it is. Quick one-seamer right down the pipe. Touchdown, Freddie Barnes.
You know, the earlier post pattern he ran against Renfro stayed right with him. That time he left him in the lurch, and Bowling Green is back.
Well, football, some little dink and dunk bootlegs, but Coach Brandon and his magic bag of tricks is just spreading the ball out with a lot of array of different passing scores.
This time they kick away from Vince Davidson, who burned back that last kick, but going to Chris Garrett, generally not much better. He is really the go-to player in the return mode for Ohio. He got back to the 31. Let's go down to the sidelines. Kevin Breckmacher.
Things with the wind down here, but a great job throwing the football right there by Sheehan.
Number 84 in the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
See the call there. Well, I think that certainly is appropriate, talking about lane assignments, because it's really been a track meet chasing Mcrae so far.
Well, you know, and sometimes you have to go back and remind guys what the game plan is. But I'll tell you one thing they're going to need to get their arm around, and that is the Big Mac, Mcrae, because I guarantee you he's going to touch the football.
So with the penalty, they'll start. 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. Stay 1st and 15, and once again, it is Mcrae getting out past the original line of scrimmage to the 32, and it will be 2nd and 8.
Mcrae has NFL written all over him. He's exactly number 5. Going to be the all-time leading rusher in the history of Ohio University. He's in the huddle now. He has exactly what the NFL teams are looking for. An ability to run inside with power and speed, and also the ability then when it's jammed up to bump it outside. He really is going to be playing on Sundays.
5'11", 208 pounds. Once again, the ball goes to Mcrae, but this time the Falcons smell it out. Handline combines on the tackle, along with number 63, Orlando Barrow.
Handline and Barrow. Barrow saying, there you go. Okay, we finally got him. There you go. Good job. You know, a great back, the way you really slow them down is you get them before they get going. Because you let them get into the second level. You let Big Mac Mcrae get into the second level, that's going to be a problem.
Ohio has called a timeout here. Interesting, with just 12.6 seconds remaining to play in the first quarter. We would have had a stoppage in play coming up very quickly at any rate. You see there Mcrae, he has got so many records. The whole book is going to be his before he's through. But let's take a look now at some of the upcoming games for Ohio. They'll be taking on the Temple Owls next week. Then they go to Akron to play the Zips. And then they will conclude the season against the Miami Redhawks. Ohio is the preseason favorite to win the Mid-American Conference East Division, but those plans got put into disarray with some early losses, although talking to them Really, the game that was very upsetting to them was when they lost to Buffalo early in the year, but they were saying, you know, they've taken some heart because Buffalo turned out to be a much better football team than anybody thought they would.
Buffalo and Temple, both greatly improved. The MAC is a strange 3-5, 5-3 kind of collection of teams.
See what they can come up with off that timeout for the 3rd and 7. Scott sprinting out left, turning upfield, but the Falcons deny him the first down. About 3 yards shy, it looked like they were using Mcrae as a decoy.
Well, they're running a speed option. They're just running a straight speed option, and
this is very interesting. Another Ohio timeout. They're just 3 seconds away from the end of the first quarter.
it was just a straight speed option, and Theo Scott turned it up. And Theo Scott has shown good mobility. I mean, he has an ability to run the football very well.
Ohio has to hope that they don't need a couple of timeouts on a late drive here in this first half. Now let's take a look at the upcoming Falcons schedule. They host Akron. They have not been at home very much this year. 2 straight home games. That's certainly welcome for them. Then they go to Eastern, Buffalo, and then play their arch rival Toledo back here at Perry Stadium on the 23rd of November. All of those games figure to be major factors
with the emergence of Willie Jeter in the running attack and a continued development of the running attack and an improved defense and special teams, Bowling Green could be a MAC championship caliber club.
Matt Schulte back in punt formation here. Falcons edging up in the box, so they're going to try to put pressure on him. And they fall back into return mode. Partridge back, and the ball is out of bounds. We marked on the 28. Let's take a break. First quarter's over. We direction, which is the way Ohio is going. So perhaps that was the reason why they took those 2 late timeouts. 1st and 10, ball on the 18. Going with that delay to Jeter, rambling into the secondary again, and out to the 31. Swooping into the secondary for a first down, and that will conclude the opening quarter of play. And 14-10 for Ohio, but Bowling Green has certainly shown that they are still a force to be reckoned with on the ground.
Well, you get a look at Willie Jeter right there. I mean, that stretch play that they're running, that little edge play with him when he's coming all the way around, exemplifies the kind of foot speed that Willie has. He's got to be a 4.4, 4.3 40 guy. Extreme quickness. They list him at 170 pounds. I'm thinking he's got gravel in his pockets because he isn't hardly 170. But he's a powerful, low to the ground, quick guy. He is an emerging star for the Bowling Green offense. See, watch this outside edge play, getting Willie out there. And then he has no qualms about turning it up inside and laying a little shoulder pad to somebody. He really can play.
Well, the thing that I think is overlooked sometimes with Bowling Green is the fact that last year they led the Mid-American Conference in rushing. You could say, well, that was last year, this is this year, but the fact is they had their entire offensive line back. They had their leading rusher, Chris Bullock, who gained 798 yards a season ago. Now adding Jeter into the mix, it's almost a no-brainer that you're going to say this team's going to be able to run the football when they put their mind to it.
Absolutely, and I think when you're looking to do those kinds of things, to be balanced, you know, what balance means in football, if they're giving you the pass, then you take the pass. If they're giving you the run, then you take the run. That's really what balance means in football. It's not necessarily how many throws and how many runs. That's what people misunderstand about balance. It's you take what the defense have given you. On Saturday, if they're giving you the run, then gosh darn it, take it. Or if they're giving you the pass, then take it. That's what real balance is in football.
Last week's game against Kent, the Falcons ran the ball 59% of their plays. The previous week, or previous average, was only 35%. Greg Brandon was talking about that earlier this week, and he basically said that last year their passing game was almost non-existent, so he really wanted to emphasize developing a passing attack, and so they spent a lot of time working on it during spring last year and again during preseason practice, and then when it started working almost flawlessly at the start of the year, they figured they're just going to keep riding that horse.
Well, defensive coordinators are interesting people, and if you prove you do something well, they'll take it away from you and make you do something else.
And the Falcons have shown they're able to do that and adjust. Here is Sheehan on first down, out of the pocket. Not quite enough on the ball. Partridge made the catch. They're going to call it complete. Was not certain as to whether it was trapped or not, but Partridge did a great job coming back on the underthrown pass.
Corey Partridge, all young receivers watching this play, is exactly what a great receiver does. They call this riding the stem or coming back up the stem. Now watch Partridge come back to the ball, fight his way back, get his hands underneath. Great camera shots, guys. Boy, I'll tell you what. It looked like it could have bounced too. I don't know. We'll get another look at that, but it's a great effort by Partridge, fighting his way back and trying to get his hands underneath.
When they look at that replay, that was an excellent shot by our BCSN crew. I don't think that they can overturn that. It looked to me like it was just a brilliant catch by
Here you go.
Corey
You get another look at it. Now he's fighting his way back up the stem. The hands are underneath. Does it bounce on the ground? It looked like a little Alan Trammell double hop in there, throwing over to Whitaker. I don't know.
Well, the second time looking at it,
it looked like a little bit of a bounce
first
in there.
time I was
I mean, it's a
convinced that it was a
call.
catch. The second time, well, you never know. They're going to look at it several times.
It looked like a little bounce there. But the technique of coming back and working your way back to the ball like Corey Partridge did is terrific.
Well, my first instinct watching it live was that the ball was trapped.
All right, down the middle. Now watch Corey work his way back, get a little different camera angle on this. Gets his hands underneath. I think it hits because you see it bounces a little bit and starts to come out the other side of his arm. But is it good enough? Is it good enough to overturn? Here you go. Get another look. Corey working his way back up the stem, trying to get to the ball desperately, hands underneath. Now, does it give you a little hop and skip there at the bottom of it?
Remember, it has to be definitive.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough call. That's going to be a real tough call. When you run it real time, it looks like there's a little hop and a skip in there. When you slow it down, it doesn't look as definitive. So, hey, Stripers they'll give us something.
Video reverses the call on the field. The pass was incomplete. The ball will be placed at the 31-yard line. Second down.
Well, as you could hear, that call.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little skip in there, a little hop.
Grave disapproval, but
what do you mean? Falcon people are a little upset, a little home cooking going on here. They want the call, but boy, Corey did a great job fighting his way back to the ball.
I have to say, I think it probably was a good call, but it took 2 and 3 times looking at it to arrive at that decision.
Well, it's different. You know, the speeds when it's slow motion, you know, the regular time, it's different when you look at it. But it did look like a hop there.
In the pre-replay days, that's a completion. 2nd and 10. Sheehan up the middle, and that one is incomplete. As he had Parks in his hands, but he was in a lot of traffic. And it will go to 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and Tyler Sheehan is kind of kicking himself on the long pass to Corey Partridge because he knows he found the right guy, he made the right read, and he just didn't get enough giddy-up on the ball to get it out there because he had a big play.
And the fact that it was incomplete does not detract from the effort of Partridge on that play. See the 3rd down conversion numbers. Sheehan going deep again, Partridge again, and it was behind him. And it was almost split the distance between Partridge and Chris Wright, who was sprinting down the right sideline. And it's 4th down.
Well, that's a staple of the spread offense. It's called a four-seamer. And what you get is 4 guys picking a seam right down the middle. Tyler picked the wrong guy. The guy you don't see on the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side was wide open. It would have been 6.
So the Falcons miss a couple of big opportunities to strike Ohio with long balls. Punt was just away by Nick Ivanelli. He was pressured, and as a result, a short kick. The ball is down on the 37-yard line of Ohio. That's where they'll put it into play as Dan Macon, their number 5, put the touch on the ball.
Greg, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this. This field is as fine a natural, natural grass, artificial surface as you'll see anywhere in the country. The SIBO Center is unbelievable. The weight room facilities and the coaches' offices, they've really done a spectacular job here at Bowling Green.
Tremendous renovations on this facility. They've been playing in since the mid-60s, and handoff on first down, and Mcrae lugs it over the 40 to the 41, but in recent downs, the Falcons have done a little bit better job containing him, although as soon as you say that,
Yep.
he'll go off on another 50-yard jaunt.
When Mcrae has a number 5, he has a little bit of a Tiki Barber kind of style to him. He really does. He's a guy that, again, he can run inside in the power plays off tackle, and then when you constrict and close that down, number 5 has the ability to bounce it outside.
2nd and 7. Scott with the play action, pumps it downfield, delivered it right into the hands of his receiver on the play, Justin Fitzgerald, but the coverage by Kenny Lewis there, number 21, forced him to cough it up.
Well, Kenny Lewis picked his pocket here. This is great defensive play. Kenny gets that arm inside on that little comeback route, and he picked his pocket.
3rd and 7.
Watch this. Watch Kenny play this. Little comeback router, little boot by Theo Scott. Good defensive back play.
He never really had possession of it, but he knew that Lewis was right there and was going to drill him. You might have heard footsteps a bit. Having some trouble with the clock, and you heard they said reset it. Huge throng of orange and brown fans here. Pretty excited about their football team bouncing back from a 4-8 season a year ago. Scott on 3rd down, runs out of the pocket. Gets the first down and then heads for the sidelines. Finally wrapped up and thrown down by P.J. Mahone, but not before he reaches midfield and first down territory.
Well, what Theo Scott is doing tonight, Coach Solich has to be very happy with. You get a look at number 3, and that is he's making good decisions with the football. You know, he's not forcing things. He's not turning the ball over. You know, last week in the quarterback position, they had 4 interceptions. You know, Brad Bauer had a tough afternoon. I know something about that. He used to throw a catchable ball. Most of them went to the other side. But you got to protect the football, and Theo Scott is doing that tonight.
Brad Bauer, a senior, but he only had 1 start coming into this year. He was relatively inexperienced. There's a pass out under the right flat, and Garrett trying to get to the open field to stop him after a couple-yard gain. Let's take a look at last week. It was really a turnover fest against the Ohio Bobcats as they took on the University of Toledo Rockets. 7 of them in all, including the last one, which really killed them. It was a fumbled punt by Chris Garrett with 26 seconds left, and it set up Toledo for the winning field goal. There it is.
I bet you Coach Solich thought that Halloween was maybe a week early, because that's a tough look on turnovers.
Mcrae, well, he just kept surging, and he got to the point where he was within a yard or less of the first down. We'll see where they spot the ball. But how many times, if it hadn't been for that last fumbled punt, if Ohio had somehow managed to win in overtime, how many football games have you seen one team commit 6 turnovers, the other team none, and the team with the 6 winning the game?
Never, quite honestly.
That might have been a first.
Now that you bring it in that fashion, those kind of turnovers will make a coach start tying his shoelaces together and get the belt and ponder other things besides football.
3rd down and 1, and Mcrae certainly is where you want to go to pick that up, and it looks like he had enough forward progress to get it. By the way, the intercepted pass earlier, that's the first turnover Ohio has produced in over 3 games. They went 3 consecutive games without forcing a turnover after forcing 13 prior to that. So they had really been in a drought in that respect.
And that montage of mistakes that they showed from last week of Ohio University against the University of Toledo, a lot of that can be play selection. Some of those Brad Bauer tosses down the middle, you know, the middle's the Bermuda Triangle in football. If you throw high down the middle or late down the middle, bad things are going to happen to you. 2 of his picks were in that difficult area to throw the football. So a lot of it can be play calling too. Tight plays that they ask the quarterback to execute.
They did get the first down, as you saw, although it was very close.
And you know, we talked about Coach Brandon. You're getting a great look at him there. I'm telling you, he is absolutely in the top 5 of offensive coaches in the country in college football and developers of quarterbacks. I mean, he really is that good.
show how well regarded he was when Urban Meyer went to Florida. They promoted from within. They didn't go and try to find maybe a named coach from another school or someone along those lines to come in. He stuck with Brandon. He's done a great job. There's a pass complete to Andrew Mooney, the tight end. He's the one who caught the touchdown pass that was called back earlier. This time he's inside the 10 to the 9.
Well, we had our OU scout before the game, Eric Daly, and he told us, what did he tell us? Greg, tight end, tight end, tight end, look for the tight ends, and they like the play action. And the reason the tight end works for OU is because you put Mcrae in there and you hammer and you play action to him, and then you come over the top to the tight end. Scott stands tall in the pocket, throws a nice little soft post down the middle, good catch by the tight end.
Good old boy from Lubbock, Texas, making the catch. You mentioned he leads them with 5 touchdown catches. The 6th was taken away. Here's Calvin Mcrae blasting toward the goal line, and he's over for the score. His 3rd touchdown of the night. Thin difference. They took the reception away from Corey Partridge. The Falcons could have driven down. The offenses have been almost unencumbered in this game so far.
Well, and people, ask today why, there's not more defense. It's because these offenses are so developed, and they're skilled people, and it's tough to stop anybody today.
High in the air, Williams took it on the 25, skirted a couple of tacklers, almost broke away, but finally the whole Bobcat team rides him down at the Bowling Green 42-yard line.
Roger Williams does this is pretty cool. He does a Baryshnikov here. He catches it, he kind of like turns his back to the defense and hesitates a little bit. Watch this. It's kind of a Baryshnikov move here. All right, Rogers getting up inside. Now, wait a minute. Oh, I'll stop. We can turn sideways and then go. He's a pretty good return man.
1st and 10. That's the 2nd time we've seen him make a move along those lines. He does a jab step, backs up, and beats would-be tacklers. Pass out to Freddie Barnes on 1st down. He almost broke away from Idris Lawrence. Finally went down a 4-yard pickup.
Freddie is so talented and so valuable to this team, number 7. He caught a little sit-down hitch from Tyler Sheehan there, but those are the hula hoop patterns. By that I mean they're gimmies, they're shorties, quick outs, quick hitches, quick turnouts, quick turn-ins. You're going to take them if the defense gives them to you.
2nd down. On the Falcon 48, Jeter around the end, again has a hole and penetrates to the Ohio 46. Good for another 1st down. You mentioned a moment ago that it's so tough to stop a lot of these high-octane offenses, and Greg Brandon was speaking about that. When his defense has had success, it's been because they've come up with big plays, turnovers, stopping the other team in the red zone and that sort of thing. He said really the way the MAC is right now, every defense has to be that way because it's just very difficult to stop a lot of these offenses consistently in the middle of the field. And this game has certainly borne that out. Setting up the screen. Running room here for Jeter. Breaking loose at the 30, down to the 21, before finally he was caught by Taj Henley, but another Falcon 1st down.
Well, these are the cute plays I was talking about. This is a little side screen. Tyler Sheehan executes it perfectly. The big, sweaty, ugly guys are out front making the blocks. And Willie Jeter, again, I'm telling you, you got a star in the making on this club. He runs hard, he's quick, he has great pace when he runs the football. He is an electrifying player.
1st and 10 on the 21. Sheehan with time, throws it, almost intercepted by Koenig as he was right with Corey Partridge.
Well, Tyler got lucky there. That's the 2nd one. He could have 2 picks tonight. Tyler, when you go late down the middle, bad things happen to you. He double pumped it twice. He hung on to it too long. It was late. The OU safety closed on it, and it could have been picked off going the other way.
Koenig is also a mid-season All-MAC selection along with Chris Luxinger. They have a lot of outstanding individual players on this Ohio defense, but as we're seeing right now and in recent weeks, the overall result hasn't borne that out. Pass to a wide-open Barnes, and he's got a 1st down inside the 10.
You know what is great coaching at Bowling Green? Great coaching at Bowling Green is recognizing a guy with special athletic ability like number 7, Freddie Barnes has. Freddie Barnes can play quarterback. He can play wide receiver. He can play running back. You get him on a little 10-8 sideline here. Tyler Sheehan puts it on a dime. And, Freddie is a playmaker. He's a guy that you've got to scheme to get X amount of touches because he will make plays.
They spotted that ball very fortuitously for Bowling Green, just outside the 10. So that means they can still make a first down without getting in the end zone. Sheehan rolling right. Again, has all day, dumps it in the end zone. He had an open receiver right, but again, the ball seemed to be just a tad underthrown. Wright lost his footing and could not come back on it the way Partridge did on that earlier pass.
Tyler threw a gopher ball there, and he knows that. He had him. He did the right thing. He waited. He waited for the receiver to clear. He had him. He just threw it into the ground. Greg, you asked why the defenses can't stop anybody today. It's on every level, whether it's Division 1, 2, or 3. And the reason they can't stop anybody is because of the formations that people are running today. It's no longer 2 tight ends and 1 wide receiver. They spread the defense out. They take physicality off the defense, and they can't stop people.
Bowling Green moving well, despite ordinary numbers by Sheehan so far. Through the air, he scrambles out of the pocket. He's being pursued by Cohen. And finally got away, stepped out of bounds still rather harmlessly as Landon Cohen, second team All-MAC defensive tackle, came roaring in on Sheehan, and he just figured he better scamper out of there.
Well, it's a nice move. It shows good agility and good movement and good judgment by Tyler, because there's some Falcon faithful down in front of us were yelling, hey, throw the ball, throw the ball. You know what? There wasn't anybody there, and he made the right play.
So now it is 3rd down and 12. Falcons just 1 for 4 in the 3rd down conversion so far. Sheehan again, not finding anyone downfield, heaves it for the end zone. Overthrown, and what a hit laid by Koenig on Freddie Barnes for punctuation. And it goes to 4th down.
Freddie says, come on now. You don't have to hit me like that. Come on now. You know what Tyler did? That's a great throw, because he put it on the back end of the end zone line, and if Freddie makes a sensational catch, you'll get a chance to see this. The only person that's going to get this ball is Freddie Barnes, and it'll be a sensational catch. It's not going to be picked off. High and deep on the back end line.
Velo is on for the field goal attempt. He's 8 for 10 in field goals this year, make it 9 for 11. And Bowling Green back with an 8 at 21-13. Let's take a see if they go to Garrett or Davidson. They're going to try Davidson again, although he burned them with that long run back to start the game. And he's got a lane again, but he's put down at the 30-yard line. And the tackle by Reek Dozier. And let's go down to the sidelines. Kevin Breckmacher.
Thanks, guys. Falcon junior wide receiver Corey Partridge just went into the locker room. In the last Falcon series, on a pass over the middle, he landed funny on his wrist. The doctors were checking him out on the sidelines. They're going to take him to the locker room, try to tape it up. Hopefully he can return. They were trying to jam something back in on the sideline. Hopefully he will return on the next series.
Isn't that the way it goes? He didn't hurt himself coming back on that other pass, and then one that looks more or less innocent, you do come down funny. 1st and 10, Theo Scott whips it down the middle, and a good catch by Mooney in double coverage, and a 5-yard gain on 1st down.
Well, Theo Scott put that in there, but I'll tell you what, a little bit of, Theo was lucky on that. They had Mooney inside and out, and he got away with one there.
Here is Reek Dozier. He was an all-stater from Akron, Garfield. They play great prep football in that area. 2nd and 5. And Theo Scott is looking more and more like the quarterback of the future and present for Ohio. He goes to Mcrae, and 1st down with a 6-yard burst up the middle, stopped by Handline. But they were telling us for Ohio that with a great running back like Calvin Mcrae, who does so much, really the quarterback doesn't really have to be a dominant figure. If you're a good game manager, that's really all they need to be able to set loose somebody with Mcrae's talents.
Well, every offense has to have something that they hang their hat on. What Ohio University is hanging their hat on is the Big Mac, number 5. And then what you do is you play action off of him, you boot off of him, and that makes, but he's the guy that makes this offense go.
Scott handed it to Mcrae, and the Falcons stack him up immediately, maybe even got him for a yard loss on that play. Briggs and Barrow leading the charge. DJ Young also in there, big 6'5", 280-pound tackle. And they give him a gain of a yard on the play, so somewhat charitable on the spot there. In fact, if you look at the placement of the ball, it's really less than a yard pickup they made on that play. Past the midway mark, second quarter. Scott back to throw, again unleashes the ball. He's got a very live arm, and that one was caught by number 23, Taylor Price, and he's the leading pass receiver on the Ohio team, and he made a good grab there.
Well, Theo Scott sets up nice. He does have a strong arm, Greg. He's got a restricted passing motion, though. There's not a fluid motion. It's not an arc or a circle, and they'll work on that, and he'll get better at that. What Coach Solich likes about Theo Scott tonight is he isn't turning the football over. He's running the offense, he's executing it, and not turning it over.
Ohio has not turned the ball over yet after having 7 last week. Timeout on the field. Third down and 3. Big potential stop for the Falcons if they can halt this drive. Briggs went way up in the air to try to prevent that pass from being made, but it was completed to Cheeto Wakocha, but a flag is down. Interference, you see the preliminary call against Ohio.
Well, Cheeto was cheating on that one, I think. They may have gotten him. There might have been a push-off there. But Theo, you have to be impressed with Theo Scott. I tell you, for a young guy who hasn't gotten the starts, he's executing the offense and doing a good job.
Pass interference on the offense, number 84. 15 yards, previous spot. Repeat, third down.
They actually called it on the tight end, David Carter. And they walk it all the way back to the Ohio 35.
In offensive pass interference, you could call that on about every 4th pass. People are bumping. All that is the offensive receiver is pushing off a little bit. When somebody grabs his jersey or he's got a hand on him, the natural instinct and reaction is to push off and create a little separation.
Frank Solich, former Nebraska coach, took his team to a national championship game. Was MAC Coach of the Year last season as he took Ohio to the MAC championship game in the GMAC Bowl. On the sidelines, there is Theo Scott trying to outrun 3 Falcons, but the pursuit gets him. Finally, Kenny Lewis making the stop, but great pursuit by Lauren Hargrove and Eureka Dozier. 5:40 to go, and there's a look at Hargrove. Hargrove, in fact, his uncle is Ron Springs, formerly the Dallas Cowboys. He's also got 2 cousins, played a lot in the NFL, and Sean Springs and James Brooks, so he definitely has the pedigree.
Well, Theo Scott, that was total run all the way. The play was to run everybody off and let him pick a crease. It's called a picket play. He picks a crease and tries to get up inside and make a play.
4th and 15, Schulte back to punt. Short one, but it is fumble. Ohio got it. Zach Charles lost it, and it was recovered by Ohio's Thad Turner. That was almost a carbon copy of the fumble Ohio committed against Toledo in the waning seconds of that game that we saw on replay.
Well, our guys and gals made a great camera shot there. You know what happened to Zach? The wind is blowing, and it kind of knocked, it was a knockdown kind of wind, and it knocked the ball down away from Zach, and it was going away from him faster than he could get to it.
That was one of those where you just held your breath if you were a Falcon fan, hoping that he would not let that ball loose, and then it looked like he'd be able to hop back on it, but it just squirted away. Scott again downfield, and that ball was well behind and underthrown. Mooney, the intended target.
Yeah, they tried to get Mooney on a seamer down the middle, and Theo would like to have that one back because he had something going. He needed to deliver the football.
I think when you look at Ohio, where they are in the standings, of course, Kevin Breckmacher mentioned they'd still have a possibility if they could win out to maybe cop the 3rd bowl bid, but I think that with their other quarterback, Brad Bauer, being halfway or more than halfway through his senior year. He's really the quarterback that they're going to start giving the bulk of the time, and he's earned it with his play tonight. And off to Mcrae, and he gets down to the 24 as he parted the Orange Sea and got 8 yards out of it.
This game tonight exemplifies two really different kinds of offenses, but it also exemplifies that you can get it done a lot of different ways. BG's the multiple spreads and shotgun and getting Jeter out in the edge and the cutesy screens and draws. And Ohio University is a lead draw, lead ISO, a little boot, and a little quarterback movement. But they're both very effective offenses.
3rd and 3. You need 3 yards. Go to Calvin Mcrae, and he picks up 7.
Well, that's another NFL cut. They'll take that play, they'll chop it in the film room after the season, and the NFL scouts will look at it. And that one little snippet of film exemplifies why he's an NFL back. His patience into the hole. Some backs are quick into the hole and they don't let the block or the play develop. When you watch Big Mac get in the hole here, he's got a little lead ISO. See him wait for the block there? That is a great shot. He waited for 79 to come in there and make that block. A normal back would have run right up 79's back and the play would have been stuffed right there.
1st and 10 on the 18. Play action. Scott rolling right, plants. Downfield, Mooney, and he laid it right in there, and a good catch. Just as Mooney was being hit. Good coverage on the play by Jamal Brown, but it did not deter Mooney from making the catch.
Is it a full moon tonight? Old 81 Mooney for Ohio University is starting to do some stuff here. That's a pretty good toss. Watch play action. Here you go. You faked it a Big Mac. Oh boy, he puts that on the side of his hip. That's fundamentally, that's strong. Theo Scott steps up. Hits the Moonster right in stride.
And really, the way Mcrae has been running, play actions to him, those fakes are going to be honored more often than not.
Well, Greg,
they stopped that one at the line.
That is the salient point of the entire offense of OU. If you don't honor that play action, they'll give it to the Big Mac and he'll be standing in the end zone. So that's what makes it difficult to defend an offense like that.
3rd down and 3. And another big 3rd down play, but Ohio has relentlessly kept this drive going. And another big play here. Ohio, you see 4 for 6 in 3rd down conversions. Play action again to Mcrae. Throw, intercepted. Okocha looked like he was going to make the catch, and he ran into a defender, and Handline picked it off.
Well, Handline, we've talked about him before. You know, he plays like a pirate at a church social, turning over tables and stealing cookies. On defense, he hits people, he gets after it. I think he baited Theo Scott into the play there, into the throw. He knew he was on top of it and made a play.
Bowling Green, that's what I said earlier. They've been a big play defense. Their stock and trade has been coming up with big plays deep in their territory, and they do it again. And Handline's brother Chris was an all-MAC linebacker. He left the program in 2002, and Handline looks like he is very likely going to be an all-MAC candidate this year, complete to Jeter at the 19, Michael Brown stopping him, but they get 5 yards on 1st down. Once again, they go to the sidelines and very carefully making the catch and stepping out. Marcus Parks, that will move the chains.
You know, Henline, some people just have an innate ability to be around the ball defensively, and Henline is one of those kind of guys. You know, he's always around the ball, he's always in the action, and therefore he becomes a playmaker on defense.
1st and 10, ball on the 26. In that spread formation now, only Sheehan in the backfield. And completes it to right. He got away from Josh Phoebus, but fortunately for Ohio, Noah Keller was there to keep him from breaking it.
This looks like a Texas rodeo here. Watch him take a ride, you know, gets a ride on the DB. The DB's got to wrap up. That's a missing fundamental there. Great concentration by the BG receiver.
Figure he was just going to do the body slam, and he landed on his feet. Another first down. Sheehan gets away, threw a ball that could have conceivably been picked off by Todd Koenig, and he was rather fortunate that it fell incomplete, but he was under a lot of duress on that play.
Well, Tyler's an outstanding quarterback, getting better and better. You know, Coach Brandon said there'd be some bumpy knocks in the road along the way because it's a learning experience. He ducks the pressure there and has enough mobility to get rid of the ball and avoid the sack.
Once again, they go to the spread. 2nd and 10, and see the premature movement. Noah Keller was in the backfield before the ball ever got there. In fact, the ball never did get there. And Bowling Green's pointing at Ohio. Ohio's pointing at Bowling Green. We'll see how this gets adjudicated.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 84 in the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
And there you have it. So it will now be 2nd and 15 for the Falcons.
People ask today constantly, how do you stop these spread offenses? And really, there's only one answer to stopping these spread offenses, and that is you bring one extra person off the edge because they have no one to pick up, and you take the chance that the quarterback can't find that guy who's running loose in the secondary.
And again, the Ohio down lineman jump, but they get back onside. Sheehan dumped it, but it was way behind Willie Jeter. And the Falcon passing attack, despite the fact that their running game has been effective, has been bogged down here of late.
Well, when they go into halftime, Coach Brandon and Coach McCall are going to say, hey, you know what's worked for us? Willie Jeter's worked for us. Let's design a few more situations or ways where we can get Willie touches.
And now it is 3rd and 15. Ohio's been pinning their ears back and putting a lot of pressure on Sheehan. Steps up in the pocket, arches it downfield, but again, double coverage on Freddie Barnes. Julian Posey and Todd Koenig were there, and it was much closer to being intercepted than caught on that play.
For the most part, the Ohio University defensive backs have done a nice job, covering the routes that the Falcons are running.
Their defense was reeling. They had allowed over 40 points the last 2 games they played. And Bowling Green came out storming tonight, but Ohio has taken over defensively here of late. There's a good punt by Ivanelli and a big hit right off the bat. Antonio Smith just leveled Chris Garrett.
You want to be a kick returner, you got hit like an open box of cereal to daycare. It's no fun back there. I mean, he takes some shots. But you know what changes the pace of this game is Mcrae changes the pace of this game. Here you get a chance. You want to return kicks. There you go. You wait on it. Boom, right in the smush.
Phoebus actually was the man back rather than Garrett. And I think Garrett was probably not too displeased that he wasn't the man on the spot that time. 1st and 10. Scant amount of time remaining here in this half. And Mcrae grinds out 3 yards on 1st down.
But we're talking about changing the pace of the game. What Mcrae does is BG likes a hurried pace on offense. They like to be up the line of scrimmage, call plays, get a lot of snaps. They're going to get a ton of snaps. And then if you get Tyler Sheehan enough snaps and Jeter enough snaps and Barnes enough snaps, you're going to score points in a hurry. But Mcrae slows the pace of the game down. It's longer possessions. They're eating clock. And they're keeping the talented Bowling Green offense on the bench, and Tyler Sheehan can't score points if he's sitting on the bench.
And here's a look at Coach Greg Brandon. Andrew Mooney, the tight end, who's been playing. And the clock's still running. Now remember, Ohio used those 2 timeouts at the end of the 1st quarter.
To get the punt with the win. You know what, Mike Ward, the outstanding defensive coordinator of Bowling Green, is going to go in the locker room and he's going to say, guys, we need to get more 3 and outs so our offense can get the ball and have opportunities. We can't let them possess the ball for long periods of time. They're hurting our offensive continuity.
No timeouts left, so either Mcrae will break it or get out of bounds, which he does. But we're down to 13.4 seconds, and so as it turns out, Those late timeouts at the end of the first quarter that Ohio called with just seconds remaining in the first, really preventing them from having too good a shot at getting into position to get some points on the board here at the end of the first half.
Well, Ohio U is very pleased. Ohio University is very pleased with the pace of this ball game. They're content to go into the halftime and say, hey, this is the style and pace of game that we can win here today.
And that's exactly what they do. They take a knee and go to the locker room with their 8-point lead intact. And certainly once Ohio's defense started to get it together, they took over in this football game. 3 touchdowns by Calvin Mcrae has them on top of the BGSU Falcons 21-13.
Good evening and welcome to the Ohio Bobcat Sports Network halftime update. I'm Jason Coma. Frank Solich and the Bobcats are battling Bowling Green tonight as they look to get back in the win column in the Mid-American Conference. We'll have the second half of that game coming up. But first, the Ohio volleyball team only has a few more matches left in its regular season. The Bobcats are going for an unprecedented 5th straight Mid-American Conference regular season and tournament title. And as Jeff Carlston's Cats rewrite the conference record books, 2 seniors on this team are proving that they are 2 of the best Bobcat volleyball players ever.
In the last 4 years, the Ohio volleyball program has moved from a good Mid-American Conference team to a perennial conference champ to a national power. And during that time, in every game of every match, seniors Stephanie Blackburn and Melissa Griffin have been on the court.
You know, they're going to leave quite a legacy for many years.
That legacy includes helping Ohio into the top 25 for 37 consecutive weeks. And for the 2, statistically, the numbers are staggering. Blackburn and Griffin combined to rank in the top 10 in 11 of the 12 major statistical categories all time at Ohio. Blackburn is the first player ever at Ohio to have 1,300 kills and 1,500 digs. And in September, Griffin became only the 2nd Bobcat ever to earn the AVCA National Player of the Week award. And heading into this weekend, Griffin is 32 kills away from the all-time kills mark at Ohio, and she is currently 1st all-time in career hitting percentage.
I never really set goals, but I was just like, I want to be the best volleyball player that I can be, and I never want to waste like a minute in practice to not get better. I don't want to just be there to be there. Like, I want to get something out of it.
Hard work and solid play from Griffin and Blackburn have certainly helped transform Bobcat volleyball. The 2 played in the Sweet 16 as sophomores and now have 1 goal for their senior season.
I want to go all the way. I'm trying to make it to, I don't want to say like too much, but I think we definitely, one of our goals is to make it back to the Sweet 16 and see how far we can go from there.
And with these 2 very talented seniors leading the way, that next step might just be achievable this year.
The Ohio volleyball team hits the road for 2 straight matches, but the Cats are back home on November 8th and November 10th in their final 2 regular season matches in the conference before heading to the MAC tournament. The Ohio men's and women's basketball teams hope that they are tournament bound for the Mid-American Conference come March, and so far the predictions say that the Cats should be contenders in the MAC this season. Last week the preseason polls came out and the men's team was picked to finish 3rd in the East Division, and Sylvia Crawley's Cats were picked as the team to beat in the East with a 1st place prediction in the preseason poll. It should be an exciting season this year for the Ohio Bobcat basketball teams, and you could be there in the Convocation Center to catch all of the action. A reminder, season tickets are on sale. For more information, call 1-800-575-CATS or log on to OhioBobcats.com. And don't forget, there will be a full slate of Ohio Bobcat basketball action right here on the Ohio Bobcat Sports Network. Just keep an eye out to OhioBobcats.com or GTN51.com for the upcoming schedule. Well, when we come back, we'll get an update as to what's going on in and around Ohio University.
Trying to get themselves psyched up for the second half, imitating their university president who was out doing the same thing at halftime.
The president and his wife were fantastic. They had to get in the Dancing with the Stars. they did an outstanding job, and the fans responded to them in the spirit of the school and the university, and that was really neat.
All right, well, we'll see whether the Falcons can carry that forward here in the second half. Ball was juggled a little bit, so it was down in the end zone, and Ohio will start on their own 20-yard line. And they had a very efficient offense in that first half. You saw the way they controlled the time of possession and moved the ball steadily down the field. Theo Scott, very efficient passing numbers there. Nothing to jump out and shock you, but he has done a very good job marshaling his team tonight. 1st and 10 from the I formation. Again, that play fake to Mcrae. Scott will tuck the ball under and pick up 6 yards before being run out of bounds.
So the Ohio University offensive coordinator should be proud of the game plan that he has put together tonight because it's a good one. You know, the play action fakes to the Big Mac are drawing the Falcon defense, which they have to do and they have to respect. And they're getting Theo Scott out on the edge, giving him an opportunity to use his legs and to make A to B throws, which are real simple, and you're less likely to turn the ball over.
Handoff, and Mcrae just shy of the 30-yard line. We have 2 offensive coordinators, Tim Albin and Jerry Godowski. Works primarily with the quarterbacks on this Ohio team.
Well, I will bet you Mike Ward, their really good defensive coordinator at Bowling Green, told his guys in the locker room, hey, we got to get some 3 and outs here, fellas, and put the ball back in the hands of our offense.
Back was down at his 3-point stance before Scott got up to the line. He was so ready, but the Falcons were ready too, and they shut the door on that 3rd and 1. And for the second time in this game, the Falcon defense comes up big.
That was huge, and that's exactly what Coach Ward was looking out of the locker room. 3 and out, give our offense the ball, good field position. They take it down, get a score, and a little different paradigm switch in the ballgame.
On Handline, who made that big interception, also makes that big hit. And Schulte back in punt formation. He's had punts this year, 57, 58, and 59 yards. So he definitely can get his foot into it. And there is a high lofting kick, not terribly long, and once again, everyone holding their breath, hoping that the ball won't pop loose, but Antonio Smith was able to hold on despite the fact that he was snowed under at his 41.
Well, Antonio did a nice job. What's happening on those punts, it's a knockdown win. It's like hitting a knockdown 4-iron out of your golf bag. It gets up, it gets elevated, and the wind knocks it down and takes it away from the punt returner.
Smith was an honorable mention, Sporting News freshman All-American at Bowling Green. Handoff, Jeter. He had 68 yards in the first half, and he scoots his way up near midfield. And very quietly, he had a great first half too. You give him another 68 yards, you're looking at a 130-plus yard performance by Jeter. I want to thank National City for helping to bring you BCSN as we see Jeter on the limp a little bit. That's not a welcome sight for the Falcons.
Yeah, he got bent back in the pile, and he kind of got, somebody had a leg and somebody was, bending on the top, and that doesn't usually work out real well.
2nd and 3. Anthony Turner in the backfield now. He takes the ball and gets the first down yardage to the 45. Anthony Turner threw for almost 1,600 yards as Falcon quarterback last season, although Bowling Green's air game was not among the league's best. And certainly he has stayed involved in this offense. In fact, he scored a touchdown, his first ever pass catch last year, and the passing game has obviously been so much more a factor this year. Thanks largely to that man, number 13, Tyler Sheehan. Handoff and breaking through a big hole for Don Macon down to the 25. And that's the biggest play from scrimmage for the Falcons running the football tonight.
Well, it's a straight-ahead slash, and, we've got to credit the big, sweaty, ugly guys up front for the Falcons because they protected Tyler very well tonight and created nice running seams for the backs.
Ball on the 27-yard line. It's been a tremendous metamorphosis for the Falcons as Sheehan keeps the ball and is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Last year, they were the number 1 rushing team in the MAC. This year, and they were the worst passing, one of the worst passing teams in the MAC. This year they were down the lowest in terms of running and at the top in passing. How many times do you see that happen in football?
Well, and that's why Coach Brandon is special and one of the top 5 offensive coaches in all college football today. He knows how to make both of those things happen. And the reason the metamorphosis of the pass game has occurred is the development of Tyler Sheehan as an A to B thrower. His accuracy has made this happen.
Sheehan's got a lot of running room here. He was torn between whether he should hit the deck or stay on his feet, try to get the first down. Finally did about half of each, and he's about a yard short.
Tyler, he is such a hard-working, smart young man. Tyler's got one thing, he's got to work on that slide. That slide was kind of a, you know, he watched. Tyler's not sure, okay, I'm looking downfield, the receivers are running everybody off. The great divide opens up. Now, do I slide? Do I get down? No. Tyler, get down.
Now, the book says you're supposed to get the first down and then go down, but he was about 3 yards too far away from the first down yardage.
Get down before you get hurt.
Better to stay healthy. There's Turner.
Live to fight another day.
Gets first down to the 16. Turner scored a touchdown. It was actually kind of a modified flea flicker last week where he got the ball from Sheehan, pitched it back to Sheehan. Sheehan gave it back to him, and he went down the sidelines for a touchdown. 31 yards, his first ever touchdown reception.
Well, and give Coach Brandon credit, too, and their outstanding offensive coordinator, Coach McCall, because they use their quarterbacks. They use all their quarterbacks in different sets and different formations.
And here is Turner taking this snap from the quarterback position, and he gets down to the 11-yard line. Another 5 yards there. We are at Dwight Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green State University. And Mid-American Conference football action between the host BGSU Falcons and the visiting Ohio Bobcats. Greg Franke along with Coach Tom Cole and Kevin Breckmacher on the sidelines, bringing you the action here tonight, along with our entire BCSN crew. 2nd and 6. Turner, once again, tucks the ball under, and he'll score. Sweeping the end clean for a 12-yard touchdown romp. And the Falcons are within 2 points here, a 2-point conversion away from tying the game.
Well, here we go. This is an old-fashioned little sweep, knockdown sweep, good blocking on the outside, easy into the end zone. But what I was getting to, the point about using your quarterbacks, a lot of schools don't, quarterbacks are talented. Even the 2nd, 3rd, 4th guys can play. Use them.
They got 3 genuine, legitimate quarterbacks on this Falcon team. They go for the 1-point conversion at 21-20. That's the problem with him, although Anthony Turner came on and certainly kept their running game in high gear.
And you got a nice shot of Tyler Sheehan, a very talented and skilled quarterback of the Falcons. He does look like Beaver Cleaver a little bit. I've been getting on him about that. He was on the phone calling Ward and Gene and Wally and June, Gene. He does look like Beaver Cleaver.
Ball was picked up at the 2-yard line. Here we go again with Davidson, who broke one earlier. But this time the Falcons hurl him out of bounds at the 23. Let's take another look at the touchdown run by Anthony Turner here.
Turner does a great job, just a simple sweep. But boy, number 11, you get a little look right on the outside. You see him right there, number 11, Pete Winovich. He made that touchdown. There he is, and he's going to celebrate with Anthony. But he made that block. He made that little play.
Pete Winovich, been a tight end, played just about every position imaginable for Bowling Green. A great utility man. 8 plays, 58 yards, and a very impressive touchdown march. And the Falcons are within a point. We'll see whether Ohio can throw a counterpunch now. Defense really stepped up and stopped the Bobcats the first series of the second half, and they pick up about 5 on first down. As once more it's Mcrae. You can key on Mcrae, but you just can't stop him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a dump truck loaded up with gravel headed downhill. I mean, you can't. If the big guys up front create a crease for him, he's going to get his 3, 4, 5. And if you don't, and he gets to the second level past the linebackers, he's going to get 16, 17, 18.
And with that run, Calvin Mcrae has become the all-time leading ball carrier in Ohio Bobcat history, passing Stephen Hookfin in the all-time annals. Hand off, a sweep around the right end, and finding room to motor is Chris Garrett. And if he gets out in the open field, it was a good buy because he has speed to burn.
Well, Coach Ward is, again, he's going to tell his Falcon guys out there that have done a really nice job tonight. He's telling them, guys, we need 3 and outs. Put the ball in the hands of our offense, get us some 3 and outs here, and we'll get this game handled.
And they have really no other serious running threat besides Mcrae on the team. Garrett could be the guy who could perhaps become that second option. Play action again. Scott under pressure, and he gets dumped from the blind side by Angelo McNone.
Angelo brought great pressure, terrific job, nice sack. And what Theo Scott did well that time, he got clipped pretty good from the backside, kind of a hit and run kind of deal at the quarterback position, but he hung on to the football, and that's hard to do. You watch him in the pocket, he's going to get a hit and run from the back right there, but he was able to secure the football.
McNone was All-State Division III football player at Steubenville, Ohio. Screen pass set up on 2nd and 16, and Mcrae bursts into the open field. Finally was laid out by P.J. Mahone. Otherwise, he might have been running for a long time.
Well, you know, it's smart game planning. You know, they're doing one of these little sleeper screens off to the side. You let the Falcons rush, and you throw it over the top of their heads, and then you get Big Mac out in open space, and that's not a good thing for the Falcon defense.
So the measuring sticks are out, and looks like they covered the necessary 16 yards by half the length of the football. So the Falcons seem to be in pretty good position to force Ohio to give the ball up again. But a big play again made by Calvin Mcrae, this time as a receiver, and he came into this game tied with Taylor Price as the top receiver on the Ohio Bobcats in terms of number of catches, although Price had more yards per catch. There goes Mcrae again, nearly spinning out of traffic. They stopped him after a gain of 9, but every time he touches the football, you're just worried if you're the defense, he's going to break away and take it to the house.
Well, running is part instinct. Running is part the big guys up front. You take a look at them, and they're the unsung guys in football. You know, the 73s and 76s. Those guys take a pounding, and when they're coming off the ball in unison, drive blocking and creating a seam for a guy like Mcrae, that's going to be tough to stop.
Premature movement there, and the Falcons punctuate it by blasting in both Darrell Briggs and John Hanline. And this should go against Ohio, though you see the obligatory points toward the defense.
Offside. Number 44.
Now, how do you like that?
5-yard penalty.
They did call it on the defense. And normally when you get two players like that going across, that's a very good indication that they were drawn offside, but they do call Hanline for that offside call. There's a look at Mcrae to 159. He needed 147 to set the Bobcat record. So every time he touches the ball now, it's a new record, unless he goes backward, of course. And Theo Scott dragged down after just a yard, but a flag flying there. As Briggs on the tackle.
Well, I still have some open transcripts from college and math and a lot of things I didn't pass, but I think that 6 yards of carry is not too bad from Mcrae. And it would lend you to believe that they might just keep giving him the football.
Holding on the offense, number 73. 10 yards from the previous spot, remains first down.
Well, it'll be 1st and 20. You think the last time a back maybe had this kind of impact in the MAC was when Chester Taylor was running for the University of Toledo. So you see the play again.
Yeah, you know, the holding in football, you can call that on every play. As long as it's not occurring at the point of attack, you let it go.
Chester Taylor's been a very effective NFL runner. I think Mcrae, every reason to believe he will be too. Here he goes again as they try to set up that screen for him and let him ramble, but this time the Falcons were able to engulf him at the 49-yard line.
Mcrae's like trying to tackle a duffel bag full of marbles. You know, you just can't get your arms around him. You can't get a good, you don't seem to ever get good shots at him. He's low to the ground, he's got strong legs, he's quick, he's got to change the pace. He can bust it inside strength-wise or bounce it outside and hit you with speed.
2nd and 20. Last time they had 2nd and long, they hit him with that 16-yard screen. They go back to it again, but the Falcons once more right there. And the second time in a row, they set up a screen for Mcrae, and the Falcons short-circuit it for no gain.
Great defense by the Falcons. You know, sometimes you go to the play too many times. That time they went, again, that little sneaky side screen. They try and get Big Mac out there. The Falcons ran to the ball, tracked it down, boom, hand line. Look at that. Oh, man, that's football. Handline will stick his nose in there. Number 44, you get a look at it, took that hat off. Looks like he's got the head shaved down a little bit. He is a football player.
Handline has been one player who has not been hesitant to go head-to-head with Mcrae, and he's won a lot of those head-to-head battles. Here we go at the 3rd and long. Scott stepping up in the pocket, long pass. That will be well overthrown. Intended for Taylor Price, but Antonio Smith had him covered like a blanket, and the ball was overthrown by 10 yards at any rate.
Well, Taylor Price, they'll break that down in films tomorrow. What Taylor didn't do, he didn't run through the route. He stopped, almost stopped about halfway through, looking, trying to locate the ball. You run through the route, and then you have an opportunity.
We've got a very interesting plot building here as we move into the latter stages of the 3rd quarter. Ohio, the 1-point lead, low snap, dug out by Matt Schulte. Another short kick, Falcon bounce, and corralled at the 28-yard line by Ryan Sensor of Ohio. Here is Corey Lichtensteiger.
Corey's a great
already
football player.
A 2-time All-MAC selection. Certainly you have to figure he's odds on for a 3rd time. And he is certainly the anchor of that big offensive line. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more MAC football coming up. A score of any kind away from taking the lead here. And Jeter is also back out in the backfield. He takes a delayed handoff and is in the open. Look at him drive, 170 pounds of dynamite. He gets out to the 43-yard line. Looks like his calf is more or less healed based on that run. And let's go back down to the sidelines and Kevin Breckmacher.
Thanks, guys. Real quick, a couple injury updates for Bowling Green. Wide receiver Corey Partridge and defensive tackle Orlando Barrow are both out for the rest of the game. They're in street clothes on the sidelines. Also, Shauna Dribniak, one of the defensive linemen for Bowling Green, a senior. He has a hurt wrist on the sideline. He's getting that attended to right now. Hopefully he'll be back in next series, but the defensive line is starting to get beat up a little bit here for the Falcons, guys. Back to you.
They were fortunate to stay healthy for quite some time this year as Jeter is stopped in the backfield. That time on a good effort by Jameson Hartby, a 2nd-team All-Macker from Centerville High School, Elks.
You know, Coach Brandon is so creative with his formations and his play calling. You notice the play previous, they ran a little hesitation draw where Jeter almost stops. It's kind of like Satchel Paige's hesitation pitch. He stops and it kind of freezes the defense and then slices off to the side. I'm telling you, Jeter is a 4.4 speed 40 guy, maybe 4.3. Extraordinary quicks.
2nd and 10. Sheehan back to throw. Deflected, that's dangerous. That might have been fair game to be intercepted. Josh Phoebus was close to the ball, but it hit the turf harmlessly.
Tyler Seams, you get a good look at Tyler Sheehan, the extremely talented quarterback for the Falcons. And boy, they are in such great shape at the quarterback position for a long, long time. He is a gifted young man, a hard worker, studies film, great passing motion, has improved, you know, so much from last year. He can get it done, but he's been throwing the ball just a touch late tonight on some of his throws. He needs to pick the tempo up a little bit, get it in and out of his hands a little faster.
Timeout called by Bowling Green. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with more MAC football coming up. At his offense. Falcons a score away from taking the lead after they've been behind by double-digit margins on more than one occasion. Pass out, Macon again in the open, and he has made some big plays for the Falcons as he manages to knife down to the Ohio 43.
Well, Macon's done a great job. Macon's headed to Georgia there. I'll tell you what, that's a clever little play call.
That is south.
Yeah, he's headed south, headed to Georgia. But if you watch the replay, watch the Ohio U guy crawling to get to Tyler. It is, oh, it's unbelievable. He's crawling on his hands and knees. And
that sounds like a rule, looks like a rule you'd play in sandlot football. You got to crawl to the quarterback.
We got to get Tad to run that again. He's crawling on his hands and knees trying to get there.
Counting 7,000 before making the rush.
Wow.
And the whistles resound there before the snap. And some of the Ohio players are heading over to the sidelines. Ohio has called the timeout with 2:54 remaining in the third quarter.
Is this Landon Cohen? Is this 55? Watch him crawl. I'm going to get Tyler. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Gosh darn it, here I come. Oh, and I'm going to swipe at him. You got to get up, big man, and get a paw on him, for God's sakes. That was a great shot.
Yeah, Landon Cohen, all MAC as well.
He didn't quit. He was bear crawling. He was getting after it.
Got to give him an A for effort on that play, that's for sure. By the way, as we see the Falcons huddled around their bench, we have yet another milestone coming up for Calvin Mcrae. He's 16 yards away from becoming the first 4,000-yard rusher in Ohio Bobcat history. So we'll watch that next time the Bobcats get on the field offensively. But Bowling Green here, a couple of big plays that they have pulled to Dan Macon on a run where he got down to the 25-yard line on the previous touchdown drive. And then on the screen pass, we took it to the 43. All of a sudden, they're really in business after it looked like Ohio might be very close to snuffing out the drive. And Ohio bracing themselves for the next Falcon surge as Tyler Sheehan, you see there, fourth in passing in the MAC. His first full season as quarterback. Long count there, nearly drew off the Bobcat interior lineman. Pass was deflected and incomplete. Didn't have enough elevation on that. But looking at Sheehan, it's really something as he came pretty much out of nowhere. He was 23 for 43 in 4 games last year, relatively insignificant playing time. And he had such big shoes to fill. Josh Harris and Omar Jacobs, just tremendous quarterbacks in this program in recent years. And he's really become somebody who I think can be a very worthy follower of that caliber of quarterback. Handoff, and they once again tried to go to Macon, but this time he is double teamed and put down heavily. Taj Henley leading the charge there, number 56. He had a career high 10 tackles in the Toledo game last week.
They figured that little hesitation draw out that time. It wasn't there. And Tyler Sheehan, you're right, and what that improvement comes from, number 13, it comes from hard work. Off-season weightlifting, he got stronger. Film study, he worked on the mechanics of his throwing motion and his feet and his setup. And again, Coach Brandon, you're getting a look at him, he's the best in the business at developing quarterbacks.
He could be on course, Sheehan, to break every passing record in the book for the Falcons, but that one, he got his arm hit. It was intercepted, and a long run for Chris Luxinger. He is going to take it in for the score.
Boy, Chris said, holy smokes, look what I've got. Tyler Sheehan was in the pocket, was starting to come forward. He saw somebody open, got his arm hit from the back, and it's a lineman's dream.
Well, his name is Luxinger, and I would say luck is the operative syllable.
You know,
there.
he still caught it. Here, Tyler's looking downfield, coming forward. He sees somebody on a middle seamer. His arm gets hit. And hoo-ha, look what I've got. And, you know, hey, look at the big man's rumbling. I mean, he's picking him up. He's laying him down. He's starting to blow a tire here. He's slowing down a little bit.
But he wasn't going to stop till he had that touchdown. And that's right, he had good luck, but he also made the most of it. And the extra point is good, and Ohio all of a sudden leads once again by 8 at 28-20. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with 9 right now after that 60-yard touchdown run.
Don't you like to watch one of the big guys rumble, though? You know, they get the ball. First of all, they don't get that many opportunities. It pops into their hands. We may have to get Tad to run that back one more time. The big guy gets it popped in his hands, and he starts rumbling like he really knows what to do with a football. He's probably never run the ball 5 times in his life.
Like Larry Zonka or Bronco Nagurski in the open field. That ball, a pooch kick, got past everybody. And finally, it was run down by Williams. He picked it up, and he's after the 35 and pitchforked at the 40. And the kicker, Bronstein, came up and made a pretty good tackle there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Brandon's going to take Roger Williams tonight and run him through the drive-thru at McDonald's and say, here's a couple extra Big Macs for you, big fella, because he has created some offense off these returns. Watch him. And a little side return here, right down the sideline. A little bit of a dipsy-do there, a little shake and bake. There you go. Those are great returns, great field position for the Falcons.
A leg tackle there by Bronstein. Actually, it looked like Kenny Lewis on that return, 21, as opposed to Williams, 31, who's usually back in that position. Macon with a 4-yard gain, and with Jeter coming up with that calf problem earlier, Macon has been more and more featured in the Falcon offense. Second and 6. Thank the Andersons for helping to bring you BCSN. More for your home. And a second and 6 call. And it goes to Freddie Barnes. Turns back upfield. It was wrapped up by Steven Jackson, number 42. Not before he got very close to the first down yard.
With Freddie Barnes, you get a look at him right there in 17. He's the BG slash. They should have 17, and they should put a slash behind the 17 because he can play quarterback. He's a terrific wide receiver. He can run the football. You know, he can do just a little bit of everything.
Between he and Freddie Barnes, you have two of the most versatile athletes seen in the Bowling Green football program maybe ever. And Turner runs it for the first down. So both of the players that carried on the last 2 plays are former quarterbacks in this program that, despite the fact that they were beaten out for the starting quarterback position, they have still stayed on and been very, very major contributors for this Bowling Green Falcon team.
But Greg, that shows you how smart Coach McCall and Coach Brandon are. A lot of schools have these talented quarterbacks at 2, 3, and 4 sitting on the bench doing nothing. He incorporates them into the offense because they're skilled players.
Final seconds, draining off the third quarter clock. That might have been a bit of a broken play, and Turner just kept it and made lemonade out of a lemon there, picked up 7 yards.
Well, really what they were doing, Greg, that was the old Northwestern. It's a cross buck. You're faking the cross slash, and the quarterback just keeps it.
Into the third quarter, and let's take a break. We'll be back. Defensive backfield players for Ohio. In fact, he's 5th all-time in both broken up passes and also a stat called passes defended, which is breakups plus interceptions. I don't know what happened. He must have lost his jersey or something because he's wearing a different number with no name on the back of it, but we got word that that is, in fact, Mark Parson, number 18, for Ohio. 2nd and 5. Macon again, and he is wrapped up before he could make any headway at all, and the Falcons are going to face a big 3rd down play here.
I'll tell you, this is a great college football atmosphere in this stadium with the beautiful field, the new turf, the SIBO Center, the fans. This is college football. It's a tremendous atmosphere.
Good wide shot of it right there.
It's 3rd down.
Began to play a lot of their home games at 6 o'clock so that fans could watch Ohio State or Michigan or whatever in the afternoon and then still come out and see the Falcons. It's been a very successful change. Of course, they installed the lights in this stadium as well. And the pass, Macon was hit hard as the ball arrived by Michael Brown and broke up the pass, and Bowling Green will have to kick it away.
Well, it looked like Macon was running a little dig route, which means he's coming across underneath, and he got hit pretty good. You know, credit the Ohio University defensive backs and their coordinator and their scheme today, because there haven't been a lot of people wide open running free in the secondary.
And there is Parsons.
Mark Parson.
To receive, Ivanelli with a line drive kick. Parson catches it on the 14 and has some running room. And he was just thrown back by Eric Dozier. Excellent kick coverage there, and kept what could have been a much longer return to a reasonable level. And we are here at Joint Carey Stadium, the campus of Bowling Green State University, in a big Mid-American Conference East battle for the Bowling Green Falcons against the Ohio Bobcats. Greg Franke, Coach Tom Cole, and Kevin Breckmacher on the sidelines here tonight. But the Ohio Bobcats came in at the bottom of the MAC East, are making a serious bid to knock Bowling Green out of serious contention for the division title here with a 28-20 lead in the 4th quarter. And there is Calvin Mcrae picking up another 7 yards, and he is inside of 10 yards away now from becoming the first ever ball carrier in the history of the Ohio Bobcat program, rushing for over 4,000 yards.
Well, Mcrae he's like the Tide. He's going out, and there's not much you can do about it. You know, he just keeps, he keeps attacking the line of scrimmage, and the big guys up front, give that offensive line credit. They've created seams for him, but he's an NFL back. You're watching an NFL back right now.
He doesn't look really big, but he tips the scales at 208 pounds. And there's a little hesitation move, and he got a couple of yards out of nothing.
Yep, and see, that's an NFL cut too. They'll cut that little run right there. It was a 2-yard little deal, and they'll say, you notice the decision-making process that he made there? He was going to bounce it outside. It wasn't there. Quickly cut back in, picked up 2. An average back would have lost 3 or 4 there.
Under 13 minutes to go. 3rd and 1. Bowling Green defense trying to dig in. But Mcrae again, although he looked cornered in the backfield, he was able to get the necessary yardage. Needed 1, he got 2 or 3. And the Bobcat drive will continue. And if they can just keep going to the mailman Mcrae here and keep that clock running with an 8-point lead, of course it's still just a 1-possession game with a 2-point conversion, they can really make things dicey for the Falcons down the stretch. Trying to just control the ball right now, and Mcrae is certainly the man that can allow you to do that. Scott keeps it on 1st down, sailing past midfield and near the 40-yard line. It looks like it's going to be a late hit call as P.J. Mahone came together with Scott after he had crossed the out-of-bounds line.
Well, Theo Scott, this is run all the way. It's an interesting call. They get him in the shotgun, personal foul against Bowling Green, whacked him out of bounds. It's like we'll get another look at that. Yeah, I don't know if it was that big a hit. It didn't seem to be.
Dead ball, personal foul. Late hit out of bounds, number 21 on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run.
Yeah, they called it on Kenny Lewis, 21.
Yeah, let's see what kind of hit they put on him. Theo's getting out of bounds. Oh, no, that's, the Stripers have done a fantastic job tonight. That's a no call. You pick it up, stick it back in your pocket.
That was just a little push.
Yeah, my wife's hit me harder than that, pushing me out to the garage, for gosh sake.
Hand off, Mcrae. It's a couple of yards, so with the penalty, they mark it to the 27 of Bowling Green, and now a couple more there. And it's so vital that Bowling Green keeps Ohio off the scoreboard because, as we just mentioned a moment ago, right now it's still a 1-possession game.
Well, and you're getting to that point in a time where, as the old coach or Al McGuire used to say at Marquette, the clock starts to become your opponent too. And they're chewing clock here, which is going to limit possessions for the offense for the Falcons.
They go with the option. Mcrae, he's surrounded, but he still managed to make that one last cut, and he picked up 3 to 4 yards. So instead of a loss, he maybe gets a yard gain out of it.
An average back, that's a 4 or 5 yard loss, and he gets it back. He gets it back and maybe gets a yard and a half. Yeah, the Falcons need to stop him here, and they need to, maybe look to bring a little pressure, bring somebody off the edge. Get somebody in Theo Scott's face. You want to disrupt a young quarterback, bring some pressure and get in his face.
Huge play now, 3rd and 9. Of course, Ohio has kicker with the longest unbroken streak of field goals made in the country. So that's got to be assuring to them. But there's a pass. They want the touchdown, and they got it. Scott lays it in to Taylor Price for the score.
Well, it's a go fade. It's perfectly thrown. I think Bowling Green tried to bring a little pressure. The Ohio University Bobcats picked it up, and he throws a go fade, and he puts it right on the dime. You can't throw the go fade any better than that.
He was pretty well covered, and we're starting to see what Cal saw in Theo Scott, as he has really done an excellent job marshaling the Ohio offense here in this game. Extra point kick by Bronstein is good. 35-20, 15-point lead, the biggest of the game for Ohio. Over Bowling Green at 35-20 with 10:52 remaining to go.
Well, the Falcons need to get a nice return, and what they need to do is pick the pace of this game up. They need to go no huddle, expeditiously get the plays in and out from the sideline and start moving a little quicker.
Bronstein has about a 1950s era helmet on there. And his kick is fielded by Roger Williams. And he comes burning back upfield and gets out to the 32 before he is stopped by Kyle Robbins. And Bowling Green will get pretty decent field position, but they have to start moving the ball. Let's throw it down to the sidelines to Kevin Breckmacher.
Thanks, guys. As most football fans know, Frank Solich was the head coach of the University of Nebraska from 1998 to 2003. For 6 years there, Solich compiled a 58-19 record, including 2 BCS Bowl appearances. He won the 2000 Fiesta Bowl over Tennessee and lost the 2002 Rose Bowl, the national championship game that year, to Miami, Florida. But after the 2003 season, Frank Solich was fired after going 9-3. Since Solich's visit here to Athens, Ohio, Solich has done a great job, and last year was only the first winning season in the last 21 years. They've only had 2 of those in the last 25 at OU, and the first bowl appearance since the 1968 Tangerine Bowl. So Frank Solich has his Bobcat program on the right track, and with a win here tonight, if they hold on, who knows, they can make back-to-back bowl appearances for the first time in school history. Back to you guys.
And he was MAC Coach of the Year last year. Meanwhile, Nebraska's fortunes have waned a bit since he left the program. Sheehan is swallowed up in the backfield. Flag flies, however. But it's holding against Bowling Green, so even that was not able to keep the Ohio defenders out. That's pretty high standards, though, when you go 9-3, and it's not good enough to keep your job when you've done as well as Solich had done at Nebraska.
Tom Osborne and Coach Devaney is certainly
Holding on the offense, number 73. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
raised the bar very high there.
And there's a look at the Solich file. Tremendous record there at Nebraska. 2 Big 12 Coach of the Year. Now he's MAC Coach of the Year. That's 3 times he's been Coach of the Year in a major collegiate football conference. And, of course, the Big 12 title, and he got to a national championship game. Most coaches, I think, would be very pleased to have that kind of record. There's a pass. What a hit there. Laid on to Freddie Barnes by number 42, Steven Jackson for Ohio.
Well, Freddie Barnes made a great athletic move to catch a skinny post. Tyler Sheehan put it where it had to be, and he asked Freddie to go up and make an athletic catch, and he just, here you go, here's the skinny post, and it was just a good safety play.
You know, Solich coming from a high-profile program like Nebraska, it's almost remindful of when Jerry Faust went from Notre Dame to coach at Akron, and he was coaching in the Mid-American Conference. Had a couple of pretty good years with the Zips, although he didn't really have great overall success, either at Notre Dame or Akron. A flag flies and a big hit there as Zach Charles came in and just pummeled Jordan, or number 26 there, Davidson. Vince Davidson, who made that long kick return earlier in the game.
The look to the BG offense has slowed with Willie Jeter not being there. And when Jeter's not in that backfield, it takes away from the effectiveness of the Falcon offense.
Interestingly enough, as we're going to see this call.
Holding on the return team, number 12, 10 yards from the end of the kick, 1st down.
And the walk-off back to the 32. Take a look at Mcrae. There it is, over 4,000 yards. So he's done just about everything you could imagine. He is rewriting the record book at Ohio. Handoff, and he just keeps adding more and more yards onto those career totals.
Yeah, he just changes the pace of the game, and he moves the chains, he eats the clock, and he keeps the offense up for Bowling Green on the bench.
He was also 2 rushing touchdowns away from the all-time school record in that department, and he's broken that record tonight. So he's got the all-time Ohio career rushing record secured, the all-time Ohio touchdown rushing record secured, He's become the first ever back to rush for over 4,000 yards in Ohio history. It's like a half a page of records that he was on the verge of breaking coming into tonight. And there he goes backwards a little bit, but I still think he has over 4,000.
Well, that's a little bit of a jailbreak, and I think that's what the Falcons have to do. I think they have to start taking some shots here. With 9:08, they still have time to get it done, but they got to be more aggressive. Start bringing more pressure. You know, OU does not want to throw the football. They don't want to put their young quarterback in a bad spot. They're going to run the ball and eat clock for the most part with Big Mac. So bring some pressure. Spy them out. Start bringing some people and take some shots.
3rd and 8. Falcons desperately need to come up with a stop now.
Ohio.
And Ohio has called a timeout. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more college football coming up. Back plans.
Well, you do two things here. You spy out Mcrae, and you bring pressure on Theo Scott. You sell out here, and you make a play.
That's what the Falcons have done. Their trademark is coming up with big defensive plays when they need them. Scott pitches it downfield, wide open receiver, and it is complete down to the 16-yard line. Cheeto Wakocha on the catch, and Ohio once again answers the bell when they need to.
Well, Cheeto runs a nice corner route and give Theo, you know, he's like a point guard in basketball. That is a very good play. What he did, he approached the line of scrimmage, made the Falcons think he was going to run, just like a point guard does it in basketball, drew the defense to him, and then dropped it off to Cheeto.
Threw the ball on the dead run and just had it nestle in perfectly. And I think Theo Scott is going to be the Bobcat quarterback for the foreseeable future. 1st and 10 from the 16. Mcrae nearly spun off a big hit there by Antonio Smith.
Boy, Antonio, that's a great fundamental tackle. Nice job, Antonio.
Antonio Smith had him, and Mcrae is usually so good at slipping those kinds of tackles, but Smith closed him down that time. 2nd and 7. High formation, single wide. Falcons inching into the box. And once again, they're content to just grind it out on the ground for another yard, keep that clock running.
Well, it's tough to get running seams now because BG's filling all the gaps. They're bringing people in all the different gaps. What OU could look to do is to make that fake to Mcrae and bootleg Theo Scott out on the corner and give him a run pass option. That'd be awfully tough to defend at this juncture of the ballgame.
Interesting thing about Mcrae today is he's really only had one what you call a breakaway run, and that's when they were way back in their own territory. He got out to midfield, but he still got 179 yards. And he put a good block there on Darrell Briggs, allowing Theo Scott to scramble around right end. He got down to the 12-yard line.
Theo didn't want to go out of bounds there. That's a mistake, and they'll correct that in film tomorrow. They'll say, nice job, you didn't make an errant throw. You protected the ball, you secured it, but you don't go out of bounds.
Now here we go with Michael Bronstein again.
Wait, Michael's got himself a helmet there that it looks like.
I was going to say, what vintage is
Tank
that?
Younger wore that back in 1927.
Yeah,
You know?
when he was playing with Joe Steinehar's LA Rams. That's a block kick. Flags going. If that stands, it will break a 20 field goal streak of Michael Bronstein.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty, but they will. That's really not good at all for Bowling Green. They blocked the kick, but they're just going to get to do it over again, and it's still going to be a more or less a chip shot field goal.
Great pressure from the outside, and you're not supposed to be able to get it from the outside, so that's a good effort.
So now it's just a 35-yarder.
Look at that helmet, I'm telling you.
And the way he measures that off, he knows exactly where he wants to kick it. And the Falcons got really hurt by a penalty on the other team this time. That one is close, and it is wide. Bronstein, who had not missed a field goal all year, nor for the last 20 attempts misses a 35-yarder wide, and as a result, Bowling Green still has a pulse. Falcons picked up a first down on a pass to Freddie Barnes. 6:21 to go.
And Freddie did the right thing, caught it, got out of bounds, stopped the clock. Now Bowling Green's got this kind of offense. You're out there, you get in your formation, and you expeditiously, move up and down the field here, and they can do that.
A few years ago, the Vikings lost a playoff game to the Falcons and a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Kicker hadn't missed a field goal all year long, missed one in the clutch. There's a pass that was dropped by Tyrone Pronti when he was being hit at the time, but really, that miss by Bronstein, which is so unpredictable there because he had a relatively easy shot at it, really has kept the Falcons in this game. A 3-possession game with 6:17 left is a very unlikely prospect at best. As it is, they still have a chance, although not a great one, and if that ball had been picked off, it really would have just about been curtains for the Falcons, but incomplete there. The intended pass to Pronti there, number 83. So twice he had his hands on the ball, but could not quite seal the deal. And there's Sheehan's numbers. Certainly has not been an easy day at the office for him.
Well, they're trying to run dig routes underneath with Tyrone, but I think they need to, take a little more terra firma downfield with 6:12 on the clock. Get a little deeper shot downfield.
Moving to his right, pass out, Barnes, and a good move there as he did a 360 spinorama to get the first down.
Freddie Barnes is an athlete. I mean, he just really is a playmaker and an athlete. This little turnout on the chains. Tyler sprints right, Freddie turns out, makes the catch, turns up and gets the first down. See him spin it. Freddie's a player.
Just sliced off Lawrence to get the first down. Sheehan again out, this time for right, complete, and they inch into Bobcat territory, and also he got out of bounds to stop the clock, which is very important.
Mr. Wright did the right thing. He got out of bounds, and that's understanding where you are in the football field, understanding you're up against the clock. I like this drive. They're taking what the defense is giving him. Tyler's marching him downfield. Get a quick strike here. You get 3 and out, you get the ball back, and you got a shot.
Making shoulder pads have popped out from under his jersey a couple of times in this game. Teammates helping him get it back. There's another pass for Wright once more, and he steps out of bounds on the other side of the field. And this is what the Falcons did in the early part of the season so effectively, is just nickel and dime the opposition with these 7- and 8-yard completions to the sidelines, and they've gone back to that with success here.
Well, the Bobcats are playing an off coverage, so Tyler's taking it underneath. Here you go. Little turnout on the chain. He drops down sidearm to avoid getting it blocked.
First and 10. Barnes in motion. Ohio coming. Setting up the screen. There's some running room for Macon. 30. He might take it all the way. Touchdown.
Well, it's a perfect storm for the Falcons on the touchdown. Here's what happened. The Bobcats made an all-out blitz. Great call by Coach McCall and Coach Brandon. All-out blitz. What's the best way to have? Screen to Macon, take it to Georgia, touchdown.
Sports Illustrated Pro Action Football. If you call the blitz against the screen, you're going to get burned.
And Tyler Sheehan executed it perfectly. Get it to Macon. Here you go. He's taking it to the house untouched. Great call by Coach Brandon. It was terrific.
Ohio was really coming after Sheehan, but they ended up falling into the trap. And the Falcons are back to within 8 points. It's a 1-possession game again, 35-27. Let's take a break, and we'll be back on BCSN coming right up.
In today's, football lexicon with the spread offense, the ability to move the ball downfield very quickly, Coach Brandon knows how to do that. They line up, they don't have to huddle, and it's a high-powered offense.
So now it will be incumbent on Ohio to control the football, and they won't be able to just be as conservative as they might have otherwise been, as we see Chris Garrett dropping back into the receiving position, and there are 9 players up for Ohio between 10 and 20 yards off the ball, anticipating an onside kick here.
Why not boot it down and get it 3 and out and have good field position? I would kick it away.
And that's exactly what the Falcons did. They drive Garrett way back, and Ohio will have to start on their own 20, and that's a good call by the Falcons. And Garrett's a great return man. They essentially take the ball out of his hands, and they force Ohio to go the length of the field. Want to thank Yark Automotive Group for helping to bring you BCSN. And we are arriving at crunch time right now. As we see Garrett leaving the field, and I'm sure if he's going to have to receive any punts late in this game with the game on the line, he's going to be intent on not fumbling it.
Well, that's a smart play by Coach Brandon. Make him look like you're an onside. They get the hands team up there, and then you punch it in and make them start on their 20. Really great strategy.
Theo Scott back to Calvin Mcrae. Trying to pick his way through, but the Falcons onto him on that play. Collar him for little or no gain. Briggs getting up from the bottom of the pile there.
Well, this is a guy you got to spy out now is Theo Scott. Don't let the fake to Mcrae and get out on the edge and give him a run-pass option, because he's been doing that all day today. You're going to have to spy Theo Scott out and stop that play.
Scott has answered every challenge so far tonight. 2nd and 8, Briggs nearly got him, and then it was pressure from the other side by Joe Schaefer, but Scott was able to just outleg those two, and he picked up 5 yards before finally being forced out of bounds.
Well, I think they're still running the clock. He got down, and it was a presence on Scott's part to keep the clock running. That was smart, good field awareness.
They must have talked to him about that play in the previous
field
drive.
awareness, and that was a smart play.
Frank Solich still seems very calm, and the clock indeed continues to run down to 4:20. As you see the 3rd down conversions, Ohio has been very good in that department. Fake to Mcrae, rolling left. Scott, he's going to heave it downfield, up for grabs, and just broken up. Cheeto Okocha had a good shot at it, but he was well covered by Antonio Smith there, number 2.
Yeah, Antonio did a great job. You know why that's a great call by the Bobcats? They're heaving it down. This is a punt. They're taking a shot. If it's picked off, it's as good as a punt, and they're taking their shot, and they had it. I mean, they had their shot, but the strategy is smart on Coach Solich's part. If it's picked, it's a punt.
Downside of the strategy is now they got to punt the football away, and they didn't really get a chance at converting a 3rd and 6 and keeping the ball. Of course, they almost got the home run ball out of that. So certainly a calculated risk, that's for sure. Schulte's punt, a high, long, that's probably his best of the night. And the ball is fumbled. Sliding in. Charles had a shot at it. OU went flying in. We'll see.
I thought I saw a white jersey on it.
Ohio is recovered at the 30-yard line, and that has got to be sweet vindication for them after what happened last week. And the fumbled punt sunk them against Toledo.
Coach
and Greg Brandon
can't believe it. He
cannot
said we were going to get
it.
the ball back. We're moving the ball. Tyler's just getting hot. We know we can get in the end zone. This wind has caused problems tonight. Boy, that's just one you got to catch, and you fair catch it. You got to fair catch it, number 1. You take the contact out of it. Fair catch it, fair catch it, fair catch it.
Did you say you should have fair caught it?
I would say fair catch it, yes. Take the contact out of it. You need to possess the ball at that point in time. Because Tyler's hot, the offense is moving. You need to possess the ball.
And that could be the decisive break of the game, but we'll see. Calvin Mcrae slicing out to the 24.
You're going to get a dose of a Big Mac sandwich right here with the clock running with 3:42. You're going to be served up a Mac sandwich right here. Mcrae's going to get the ball.
Timeout, Bowling Green.
Could have been in position.
Their second timeout.
You call called timeout. They could have been in position to take the ball down the field, score, take a shot at a two-point conversion to force an overtime. But instead, their backs are really against the walls. We're here at Deutsch Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green State University. Mid-American Conference football action between the Bowling Green Falcons and the Ohio Bobcats. I'm Greg Franke along with Coach Tom Cole, Kevin Breckmacher, and our entire BCSN crew here for what has been a very entertaining football game. But the Ohio Bobcats trying to bounce back from a very dispiriting loss against Toledo, which they lost on a play very much like this last week. Now they're the beneficiaries of it.
You got to fair catch it. Just fair catch it. Avoid the contact and fair catch it.
I think just for self-preservation's sake, you might have fair caught it.
The key is to possess the ball at that point. Your quarterback's hot. Your offense is moving down the field. You know you can move the ball, and you want to give yourself a shot to win.
Both teams had a pretty good shot at recovering that ball before it finally did go to the Bobcats. So now it is 2nd and 4. You see 3:42 remaining in the ball game. Theo Scott has been running his team's offense like a real veteran in this game. Mcrae got bumped at the line hard and thrust back.
You know, I don't know if we've given due to the Bobcat offensive linemen up there. I mean, they've opened some really nice holes for Mcrae all night long. Those big guys up front look like they could damage a buffet pretty good. You got to get a look at them right there.
Timeout.
52, 58, 76.
Timeout. Please reset the game clock to 3:33.
I would think they could obliterate those buffets.
They could dent a buffet pretty good.
That was Handline again who stepped up and made that hit. He has been the one player who has consistently been able to step up to the plate and stop Mcrae on initial contact.
Well, if you look up in the football dictionary, nose for the football, Handline's picture be there. He just is a guy who has instinctive abilities defensively to be around the ball and to be in the action.
Crowd is thinning out. Some people making their ways to the exit.
We're gonna give
it's premature for that.
Yep, Greg, we're gonna give the BG cheerleaders and bands their band props tonight. They do a great job. They really do. They make it fun, and it's a great college atmosphere.
They're there whenever a break goes against the home team to try to keep everyone's spirits up. A lot of people still hanging in there, hoping to see their hometown heroes recover. And there's still 3.5 minutes to go. Even with a 2-possession game, it wouldn't be unmanageable. But they definitely have to keep them out of the end zone here. Hand off to Mcrae, and he does not. Yes, he does, sir. Say that the whistle sounded before the ball came loose.
There's Mcrae, a little lead off tackle. Let's see if the ball comes out here.
Oh, it sure
That's
does.
a fumble. That's a fumble. No question about it. The Bowling Green kids were right. Absolutely was a fumble.
The officials
Stripers missed it.
lost sight of the ball. They're going to look at the replay here.
The ruling on the field is being reviewed.
If they call this a fumble, the interesting thing is Antonio Smith would have scored a touchdown if that play had just simply been allowed to run its course. But I think there's a good chance they're going to call this a fumble.
There's no question about it. This is a fumble. You can see the ball come out right.
See where the knee hits. Yep,
yeah,
no
the knee's
question.
not down. It's a fumble.
The ball is out.
Absolute fumble.
And the Falcons, if they recovered the ball, the whistle still could have sounded, of course, before he got up and ran with it. So at the very least, the Falcons may get the football back here. And even if they do have to go 81 yards, that certainly would be a big, big boost to them.
You're getting it from a lot of angles here, but you can see the ball comes out there, and the knee is on the ground. Great camera angle, guys. That you can't give it any better than that.
It is hard to see how, upon review of that, they would not say that it is a fumble recovery for Bowling Green. And that just goes to show that even the best of them can fumble the ball at an inopportune time.
Absolutely. Well, and part of it's good defensive work, and you're trying to, I'm sure you're inside punching at it, trying to strip it, trying to get it out.
The say nothing else. Mcrae averaging 6 yards a carry. Bowling Green's kept him well
After
under that
review,
average
the
today.
ruling on the field stands.
Oh, now that is very, very unwelcome news for the Falcons. I'm sure if the fans saw the replay, well, there's that screen up there at the far end.
Hey,
They've got to be very unhappy.
Yeah, the Stripers do a great job. They just missed one here. Here you go, little lead ISO with Mcrae. Here he is, the ball stripped out there. His knee obviously is not down.
Well, there's no question they had to see that the ball came out. So if they allowed the play to stand, it had to be for a different reason than saying that the ball was
unless they blew it dead.
dead.
And the only other thing could have been they blown the play dead.
But then why look at the replay?
I don't know. I think they missed a call, to be honest with you.
Mcrae forward to the 18-yard line, and Falcons just heard tackling him there.
As a wise person once said to me, it is what it is. So, they missed their human. They missed one. All the replays and all the things you have, and our guys gave him a great camera angle there. That's as good as a kid. That was a fun. But that isn't why this game is won or lost. This game has been won for OU up front with their offensive line and with Mcrae and a nice quarterbacking performance by Theo Scott.
3rd down and 10.
Please reset the game clock to 1:47.
We're going to put 6 seconds back on the clock. I guess that's small consolation to these Bowling Green fans.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be quite enough.
Yeah, I would say that falls a little short of what will satisfy them.
That's like the Louisiana Purchase here. I think they, might have come up a little short on that.
I think the negotiations would have to continue if that was labor bargaining.
Yeah, not a good trade.
Management's offer will be rejected. 3rd and 10 from the eye. Mcrae twisting down to the 10-yard line. Just short of the 1st down. But the clock running. Bowling Green is out of timeouts. And they have an injured player down. That will stop the clock. It looks like Lauren Hargrove. And certainly Falcons do not want to see one of their players go down, even if it means they are able to stop the clock. Toledo is making mincemeat of Northern Illinois tonight. There's another look at it. Well, it might be 99. It is Briggs, 99.
Never want to speculate on that, but that's usually a win situation. It looked like he just got the wind knocked out of him a little bit.
Hargrave, number 9, was questionable for this game. In fact, the Falcons had 4 questionable players with injuries. And here's a look at the standings coming into play tonight. And you see what a loss, how damaging it would be for Bowling Green. And with less than a minute to go, Bronstein's getting another chance for a chip shot to redeem himself for that last miss. And if he makes this one, the jig just might be up, and lightning does not strike twice. He hits that 32-yarder, and Ohio has an 11-point lead with 44 and a half seconds remaining in the football game. So really comes down to a case of just some inopportune breaks hurting the Falcons. First the fumbled punt, and then, of course, the fumble that wasn't on that replay on this drive.
Yep. I think, too, the Falcons are nicked up a little bit up front defensively. They didn't have quite the physicality that they want to have. They'll get people healthy up front defensively, increase that physicality, shut down that run a little bit better, and they're still an outstanding football team.
We saw very little of Jacob Hardwick, defensive lineman, junior key player, as well as Sean Adrobanak. They were both questionable coming into this game. And also Jarrett Sanderson, a very valuable cornerback. Hargrove was the other questionable player, and he got in for a substantial amount of time. But the Falcons are nicked up a little bit. And then we, of course, had some other players that got banged up during the course of this game tonight.
And the offense is different without Jeter. When Jeter went out on offense, that takes away a major dimension when he went off the field.
You could really see the Falcons' offense visibly sag, even though Dan Macon made some big plays, especially on the screen pass that went for the touchdown, but it just didn't have the same cohesion as before. There's the drive, 7 plays, 19 yards, culminating in what very well should be the field goal that ices the game for the Bobcats, unless something crazy happens here, like a long return. End-over-end kick. Barnes almost had a chance to field it on the 25. They fan out. Here we go with a rugby play.
Where's the tuba player?
And Jamal Brown made sure that he wouldn't be able to keep that string going. And the Falcons out of timeouts, going to have to traverse 85 yards, and it's really down to nothing short of a miracle can save the Falcons now. And it would have to be a major miracle. A minor one won't do at this stage. 33.8 seconds remaining, down by those 11 points. Sheehan goes with the circle route to Marcus Parks. And it's hard to see how those kind of completions are going to get the job done at this stage.
Yeah, and Marcus, he'll fix that. He was just running before he caught it. He was kind of looking up to get out of bounds and see where he was going, and didn't take the ball with him on the way. This is a good Falcon football team, and they're going to get guys healthy, and they can run the football, they can throw the football, they get more physicality on defense. They have good special teams, they have great coaching. They're going to be heard from.
Now this is the time for the prevent defense. You know, not when you're trying to protect a 4-point lead late in the game and you're just giving up 10, 20-yard passes so that they get into position for red zone. But here, when you got a 2-touchdown game, just put up the 3 down linemen and force them to beat you with a long ball, but you got 8 players back defending.
Tyler Sheehan has not had a great night, and he hasn't had a bad night. Kind of an average night for Tyler, I would say. You know, the numbers, and he is going to be a sensational quarterback here at Bowling Green. But there are learning curves associated with that position.
You know, Coach Brandon said he knew adversity would come, and you're going to have to deal with it. There we go with that little lateral pass, and Wright nearly broke it.
Yep.
Got near midfield.
Well,
it was reminiscent of that famous play
Miami and
San Diego.
the hook and ladder. And it's a clever little play. I think if they ran it back, he may have thrown it forward, quite honestly. But I don't think the Stripers are going to look at it, but I think he may have thrown it forward.
I'm sure that that's the last thing needs to be done right now. Sheehan be the last play of the game in all likelihood. He arches it toward the end zone. Everyone's up for it. Falls to the turf. There's no time left, and that's the ball game. The Ohio Bobcats return to Northwest Ohio after a crushing defeat, and they defeat the favored Bowling Green State University Falcons and have, in all likelihood, knocked Bowling Green out of the MAC East race. But certainly you've got to commend an outstanding all-around performance, not just by Calvin Mcrae, but by the entire Ohio team. Let's take a break, and we'll be back on BCSN in just a moment.